Show is brought to you by Meridian Wealth Management. Wealth well managed, life well lived. We are counting down to tip-off for Arizona Wildcats basketball. This is Wildcats Radio, 1290.
Handed off, a walk-up pump fake, turn, shot is up and good. It took all of Toby Awaka to find a seam to get that ball up and in. Koa trying to drive inside on Watts, can't get around him. Handed back out to Bradley. Bradley spin move, shot from the free throw line, up and good. Deadly turnaround from 15 for Jaden Bradley. Gets it in right corner. Del Urso for three, and he's got it. Boy, what a time for Deli to drain that one. Anderson, dribble drive left. The runner blocked by Krivas, grabbed by Toppin, who puts it in.
He's just everywhere. JT Toppin taking over the game on the offensive end.
Texas Tech putting up pressure in the backcourt. Burry's running the baseline, looking deep. Throw it to Bradley. Bradley gets to midcourt, weaving his way down. Stop and pop a three, no good. And Texas Tech gets the win here in Tucson. Red Raiders 78, Wildcats 75 the final.
It is basketball night in Arizona. Your Wildcats no longer the number one team in the country, now just number 4, or proud to be number 4, still in the top 5, and the BYU Cougars coming to town, in town for the rematch of a game that the Wildcats won by 3 points just a few weeks ago over in Provo. Welcome to Meridian Wealth Management Arizona Game Day. I'm your host, David Kelly. We've got the captain, Kelvin Efon, here, JW Madden as well. We've got you for the next 3 hours as we get you set for tip-off tonight here in Tucson. 7 o'clock, Brian Jeffries, Ryan Hansen will have the call, and you'll hear it right here on Wildcats Radio 1290, K-Hit 107.5. Let's let you know what we've got coming up for you on our show.
Let's take a look at the Right Way Rundown and see what's coming up on our pregame show. Brought to you by Right Way Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing. Doing things the right way.
All right, it was a loss at home, first loss of the season, second loss in a row for your Wildcats. Texas Tech was the team that handed them that defeat on Saturday at McKale Center at ALKEME Arena. We'll review what happened in that game, especially down the stretch. We'll get our first look at today's game between the Wildcats and the Cougars. There's going to be some folks who were on the court just a few weeks ago who are not going to be on the court tonight. And we'll kind of break down how that's all going to look moving forward for both of these teams. View from courtside, we'll chat with Saul Bookman from All City Network. He covers your Arizona Wildcats, a U of A alum. That's brought to you by Kaiser Garage Doors and Gates. Spotlight on a cat. We're going to hear from another Arizona basketball alum. Caleb Love was hung into the Ring of Honor over the weekend. Saturday, you'll hear from Caleb as he returned to McKale Center just 1 year after leaving for the National Basketball Association. DK with TL, sponsored by Hughes Federal Credit Union. My questions this week to the head coach of your Arizona Wildcats. In fact, we've over the course of the last week had a little bit of a spelling bee thing going on here. We'll see maybe if the coach knows how to spell a word he's been using frequently this season. Goldberg and Osborne on your college basketball scoreboard. There have been some doozy of games happening this week. We'll update you on all of that. Your scouting report brought to you by Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care. Spencer Linton from BYU TV will join us to update you on what's happening with the BYU Cougars. Who will be that Cougar that gets underneath the U of A skin tonight? Your Pest of the Game is sponsored by Essential Pest Control. Can we beat the book out at Sol Sports, the Casino del Sol, Arizona, 12.5-point favorite in this game? You're over under 162.5. Keys to the game are brought to you by Royal Automotive. That'll be at the tail end of our show, along with the starting lineup. And I believe this will be, for the first time, if I'm not mistaken, JW Madden, the first time this season we will have a different starting lineup than we've had all year, because I believe it has been the same for all, what are we, 26 games into the season, 28 games into the season, somewhere along that line. I think it's going to look a little bit different tonight than it has in the past. That is what we've got coming up for you on our show. We've got you till 6:30 tonight. Arizona, well, let's start with the availability report, because that is really the story of the night. There's people that are on it for the first time this season for your Arizona Wildcats. U of A not expected to have, once again, Dwayne Aristode in tonight's ball game. Dwayne is dealing with a viral infection, so we will not have Dwayne Aristode tonight. Peat is already out for this ball game as well with his lower leg injury that kept him out of most of the game. Played just 11 first half minutes in the game the other night against Texas Tech. Will not play in the game tonight. And on the other side of the coin, you have got Richie Saunders. That's the major name. Now, there's 6 guys on their injury report, but the major name is Richie Saunders, by all means the leader of this BYU Cougars basketball team. Tore his ACL on Saturday. He will not play in tonight's game, will not play for the remainder of the season, and his eligibility is up, so his career effectively over at the BYU Brigham Young University. So a lot of names out of tonight's ball game. We'll dive into all of that. First, though, let's hear from Ivan Karchinkov on the injuries facing the Arizona Wildcats.
So about Dwayne and call out, I guess it's just the next man up mentality. Of course, we wanted to to have them out on the floor, but something happened. So shout out to CD. He gave us a couple of minutes. That was big. Give us our bigs a little breather. But yeah, I mean, 2 losses in a row, tough losses.
Yeah, CD Gay got into the game. CD Gay got into the game for a little bit on Saturday. The Wildcats may need a whole lot more than just 2 minutes from him coming up in this ball game. Tommy Lloyd on the status of Peat and Dwayne Aristode.
It hurts us. It definitely hurts our rotation, and but that's how these seasons go. I mean, it's kind of funny. You're just seeing a lot of it across the nation this week. These seasons are long. They're hard. These kids work hard. These games are physical, and it looks like some of them are starting to get dinged up a little bit. So we'll bounce back, and hopefully, we'll be fully loaded when we need to be.
Have, and is it potentially longer term than today?
I mean, we're gonna figure it out. It's a lower leg deal. And I know J Rock and the doctors are on it, and I'm sure they'll do some testing and we'll figure out where it's at. But I don't have anything other than that.
What's his deal?
Well, Dwayne has, he's got like an illness, like nothing crazy, but just something that's gonna probably keep him out for a short while.
There you go. Guys, Kelvin Ifan, JW Madden. Kelvin, we'll start with you. Everybody is staring, at least 3 of the teams in the top part of this conference, staring at next man up situations as we hit the tail part of this schedule.
Yeah, man, that's basketball, man. It's usually around this time of year you start getting little nagging injuries. We always say everybody's a little hurt, whether it's a finger or ankle or a hamstring. There's something going on with everybody, and different people have different pain tolerances. And then also coaches have to be smart at this part of the year. You want to rest some of these guys when they have some of these injuries because you're going to need them for the real long run, and that's when you get into tournament play.
Yeah, absolutely. It's tough. I mean, we mentioned JT Toppin. I don't know if we mentioned or not. JT Toppin's going to be out for the season now for Texas Tech, who came in here and made Arizona's life miserable. He went down last night in Tempe as the Red Raiders lost to Arizona State. I mean, that just it just tells you this conference. I mean, any given night, it can be any given team. Even some of the teams at the bottom, they still got guys. And they still come to play against, and they're shooting for all these teams sitting at the top of this conference right now.
Yeah, I mean, injuries happen. I think Kelvin could probably speak better on that, in that you talk about going against the number 1 team in their home building, and then we talk about games prior to a big game maybe being a game that some of the players look over, but this is the opposite of that. And obviously when you see your conference player of the year, reigning conference player of the year, and JT Toppin go down in a very odd injury, he just stepped a little long. Obviously was instantly, you could tell on the ground, the injury. But Texas Tech losing to ASU, Kelvin, that's that whole thing. Like any team on any given night. And this conference, top to bottom, you hear the big names. But any of those teams, they've got a lot of pride. They're playing for their coaches' jobs in a lot of cases. And, yeah, I mean, Arizona's been really lucky and really fortunate. If you think about the trip to Stores, they didn't have two of their starters when Arizona played Connecticut. Arizona being, relatively healthy throughout the entire season. A little bit of injury and some virus stuff catching up with them. But again, Kelvin, it's just next man up. It's whoever's been waiting their turn for that playing time to show what they can do. Now's that time.
Yeah, the first guy I thought about was Evan Nelson. I was like, man, we're going to need another guard to step up. And he's a senior. He's been around college basketball for a lot of years. He's experienced. So he's a guy that I'm expecting, to maybe get 8 to 10 minutes to give some extra, minutes to the guards when they need some help right there for when Aristode can't be in there. And I also want to say this about the ASU game. ASU was beating them before Toppin got hurt. So let's make sure we know that they was beating them, and and it's tough. Like J-Dub was saying, it's tough after winning a big game like that to calm their emotions down. Football, we got a whole week. Usually, we get a whole week to kind of calm back down. But as a basketball, they had a couple of days, and they went to play ASU, who don't have many chances to play quad one games, don't have a chance to beat top-ranked teams or a team that just beat a University of Arizona. So they took a lot of pride in that game, man, and they were trying to win one for their coach.
Wildcats fell 78-75 to Texas Tech on Saturday. Let's hear from Tommy on kind of what went down with his team.
Credit to Texas Tech. They came in here and they got it done. They obviously had a great game plan and, made timely shots and timely defensive stops. And, that allowed them to get over the top on us. We felt like we had opportunities, considering all the things that we're kind of going through. But yeah, you just got to get it done.
Got to get it done. That's part of it. You got to finish, which the Wildcats have not been able to do these last two ball games, and losing to Kansas on the road and then Texas Tech here at home. Toby Awaka on how Texas Tech basically took away Arizona's inside game.
They definitely packed it in. They knew their scout. They knew some of our tendencies as well. So, I think we could have done a better job of adjusting. But, kudos to them. They have a great head coach. They have a great team. And, everybody talks about them being undersized, but they're super tough. They're super tough. They're one of the, toughest teams we've played, this whole season, just in terms of physicality and, how aggressive they are.
Kind of different. You've seen teams go after you physically because of the dominance you have. Is it different the way they attacked it than you've been?
No. They just, they just hit hard. They buy hard. They do everything that they do with intent. Especially on their, on our drives, they're bumping us. They're being physical, not letting anything, get there easy. But again, it's just kudos to them. They have a great coach that instills in them toughness and a tenacity to do it every play.
Yeah, again, the Wildcats, in terms of pointing the paints, that number has really dropped the last two ball games. Tommy Lloyd on the different looks that they got from the Red Raiders. I
think we had a few shots that were makeable, just rolled off the rim, that you wish that would just kind of roll in and finish. But yeah, it wasn't easy to get our offensive rhythm all night. It wasn't easy, and they did a great job defensively. They held us to 39.3. We held them to 40.9, so that's a physical game.
In here, he said that they wanted to make it your 2-point shots as deep as possible, as far away from the basket. Do you feel like they were keeping you from getting as close to inside?
I'll have to go back and watch it. I don't know what our shot distance was or things like that. But yeah, that's a great tactic. You know what I mean? To body us up and make us score over bodies from distance for sure.
Guys, what are we seeing in that? In the way, at least the last two games, that both Kansas and Texas Tech are defending the Wildcats, trying to push them out away from the basket, so they're not getting a lot of those easy chances from the likes of Motias Krivas and Toby Awaka and Ivan Kurchenkov.
Well, I personally think that, they were playing physical. They was pushing us away from the bucket, but I feel like that's what we do, and I'm not going to let you stop us. I felt like we were sometimes being a little too careful. I would have kept trying to go inside, kept attacking that basket and possibly getting them in foul trouble, wearing them down, because that's what we do. I mean, so, the other teams have something to do with it because, again, we're missing a couple threes, so it tightens you up as a person. You feel like, man, we need to hit a couple more of these shots to open up the inside. But really, you just need to keep attacking, man. Do what you do. Do what you do. And we attack the bucket. I know people are going to be saying, I would love for us to hit a couple more threes as well. But we are rebounding. We're a physical, inside the paint type of team. Keep attacking it and getting those soft shots up there and crashing the offensive board.
Yeah, to me, I think pinching in on the drivers is a big part of the last two games, DK, where you think of Mo Krivas, you think of Koa, obviously, when he's in there. You think of Tobe Awaka scoring from 4 feet and in. But a lot of those paint points are coming from Jaden Bradley. They're coming from Ivan Karchenkov, right? Driving hard at the rim. Braden Burry's getting right to the cup. And I think the teams lately have been really pinching in on those drives. And it's been a lot harder for those guys to get dump passes down to bigs once they do get past the first line of defense. So, again, there's several ways to do that. You fake a pass, make a pass, an extra pass gets a better shot like Kelvin's talking about. And the big bugaboo of knock down some threes, right? I mean, we talked about that all season long. I don't think this team needs to knock down threes to win games. However, Kelvin, the way the teams are playing them these last couple of games, it doesn't hurt to get them out of that aggressive in the paint, pack in the paint style defense. If you can get some guys like Delly to get hot, Braden Burry's to get hot, that will help get those guys a little bit more driving lanes to be able to do more damage in the paint like we've seen all year.
Yeah, I agree. Barry. I was going to say, I agree, too. Berries as well. Berries is a guy that I think could really knock down some threes. And as you notice with these guys, we're going to have to be comfortable with them getting some Caleb Love shot attempts, guys, as fans. Fans sometimes
so you're talking about
Caleb
Love. You're talking about 30 shot Caleb Love shot attempts?
He means
I'm not
over
really
two
necessarily
defenders.
talking about 30, but what I mean is that you might have to take – Delly might have to take 10 threes. If you want him to hit 4, he might have to take 10. Like, go and look at these guys around the country. They're taking a lot of shots to get to knock down a few shots. And it's the same thing from Texas Tech was doing the same thing. So you're going to have to trust one of those guards or two to actually get those shots off, because then it actually pulls the defense out. Because the defense, if I'm a defender and I know this guy's taking threes, I have to get out on him. I have to I can't be so deep helping in, because eventually he's going to knock down a couple and coach is going to blame me for him making those shots. So you got to have that threat, and somebody, you're going to have to let one or two of those guys loose.
Yeah, there's also discipline involved in a pull-up from 15 feet. So if you're packing the paint, DK, and you've got rim protection, especially the last couple of teams we've seen has had some athleticism right at the rim. Another thing to do is if you stop from 15 to 12 feet, just like Jaden Bradley does, game in, game out. Karchenkov sometimes might get a little bit of too deep penetration. Some of the younger guys, that's one of those lessons you learn is when to stop. When the defense sags in and their goal is to take away the rim, some of those, again, like modern basketball is all threes and at the rim, but Kelvin, I mean, that's what's available right now, and that also softens it up because those shots are open so long as you stop at the right time and don't penetrate too much.
520-848-1290, 520-848-1290 is the number for you to get in on the program. It is Meridian Wealth Management, Arizona Game Day. Much more coming up for you straight ahead. We'll dive into our first look at the Wildcats and the Cougars coming up next. This is Wildcats Radio 1290.
This is Meridian Wealth Management Arizona Game Day. Hour 1 of the pregame show is brought to you by Advantage Air and Mechanical, Cactus Auto Company, Casino del Sol, Done Right Services, Drain Masters, First Chiropractic, Idaho Central Credit Union, Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care, Picture Rocks, Cooling, Heating, and Plumbing, Royal GMC, Buick and Cadillac, Royal Kia, Royal Jaguar Land Rover, The Window Depot, and by Meridian Wealth Management. Wealth well managed, life well lived.
Now that's what I call savings. If you're looking for a real truck, get up to $7,500 off a new 2026 Chevy Silverado, plus up to $2,500 off a 2026 Chevy Equinox, and $8,500 off the Equinox EV. It's all happening now at O'Reilly Chevrolet. Truck tough deals, real savings. Call us at 747-8000 or see us on Broadway next to Park Place Mall or on the web at O'Reilly.com. O'Reilly Chevrolet. Together, let's drive.
O'Reilly Chevrolet. From offices and warehouses to retail spaces and restaurants, the right lighting transforms your environment. At Arizona Commercial Lighting, we've been proudly locally owned and operated for nearly 40 years. Our extensive inventory of in-stock lighting solutions is designed to meet both commercial and residential needs, with quality, variety, and value you won't find anywhere else. Visit us at 1436 East 17th Street or explore our offerings online at azcommerciallighting.com. Be sure to ask about available TEP rebates. Arizona Commercial Lighting, powering business through precision lighting.
Morning begins in the Rincon Foothills. Rocking K, a master-planned community and place to call home, offering distinct neighborhoods designed to fit your lifestyle. Explore the outdoors, walk the trails, visit Saguaro National Park. Enjoy community parks and make new friends at Rocking K resident events. Walk to Vail School District's newest campus in Rocking K, Saguaro Creek. 17 model homes, 6 quality builders, move-in ready homes available from the 300s. Rocking K, designed by nature. A community by design.
Wildcat fans, why wait for a great night's sleep? At Factory Direct Mattress of Tucson, you get comfort for life and deals you can't get anywhere else. Shop top-rated brands like the award-winning Puffy, Lisa, and our FDM lineup, all at Factory Direct Savings. No gimmick, no pressure, just comfort that helps you wake up feeling like a champion. Find us at 3936 West Ina Road or at fdmtucson.com. That's fdmtucson.com. Easy to find, easy to say. Stop by today, sleep better tonight, and get ready for Arizona's next victory.
The cold Arizona nights are here. Is your furnace ready? For just $59, Rightway is offering a complete system tune-up, ensuring your furnace runs efficiently to keep your home comfortable all season long. Routine maintenance is key to avoiding costly breakdowns. And with over 11,000 5-star Google reviews, you can trust Rightway to get the job done right. Plus, we'll include a free carbon monoxide test for your peace of mind. Call Rightway today at 520-640-2665 or visit us at rightwayac.com for your $59 complete system tune-up.
Every day is a balancing act, with work, family, goals, all asking for more. It helps to have tools that meet you at every step and a team that will always be by your side. We're ICCU. We're a credit union that has been helping members achieve financial success since 1940. In fact, we put member success first, one by one, year after year, for 85 years and counting. Now, we're here for you, Tucson. Join us, ICCU.
At Goldberg and Osborne, we know Arizona. It's where we live. It's where we work. It's where we've fought and won cases for the injured since 1989. Throughout our history, we've approached every case with a single focus: you. And we've got thousands of 5-star reviews to prove it. Put us to work for you by calling 1-800-THE-EAGLE today.
Sean Furrier for Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care. Now that winter is really here, cooler overnight temperatures mean that your tire pressure warning light could be on. In most cases, you solve the problem by simply adding the correct amount of air to your tires. As always, you can stop by any of our 14-area Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care locations for a free tire inspection and air pressure check. And if you need help with that low pressure warning light, we fix those too. Check out jackfurriers.com. Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care since 1960, here to get you there.
Our Window Depot coverage of U of A basketball continues. This is the Meridian Wealth Management Arizona Game Day pregame show on Wildcats Radio 1290. Now, back to your hosts, David Kelly, the captain Kelvin Yvonne, and J.W. Madden.
To Atwell, he'll shoot the three. Off the back of the rim, no good. Burry's there for the Arizona rebound. Braden quickly down, stop and pop a three. Straight away, it's good. It'll be a two-pointer for Burry's, and they'll take a look at it at the next stop.
It's time to take our first look at today's game. Brought to you by the Window Depot. The Window Depot. Lowest prices and biggest inventory. Shop thewindowdepot.com.
All right, this will be the 43rd all-time meeting between the Arizona Wildcats and the BYU Cougars tonight. Arizona leads the all-time series 22-20, so it's tight. That after a 3-point win in Provo earlier this season, back on January the 26th. In games played here in Tucson, Arizona 15-5 against the Cougars, who will come in here having won 2 games in a row after they lost 4 straight. So the game that they lost to the University of Arizona sent them on a 4-game losing streak. After they played the Wildcats, they proceeded to lose to number 14 Kansas on the road. Then they lost at Oklahoma State by 7. You remember that game because that was the game prior to the Wildcats playing Oklahoma State here in Tucson. And then they went home and lost to Houston, number 8 Houston, by 11 points. They have since turned things around. Last week was a good week with wins at Baylor and at home against Colorado, although Colorado, I think actually both of those games, if I'm not mistaken, went to overtime. A 5-point win at Baylor, a 4-point home win against Colorado. Okay, injuries, if you weren't with us earlier, or availability, depending on the term that you like to use, the availability report. In fact, a perfect opportunity for you to jump on board with our availability report because it is brought to you by nobody but Peat and Dwayne. Aristode out for Arizona. Richie Saunders out for the BYU Cougars. Tommy Lloyd on how his team is dealing with those situations, not having either Peat or Dwayne Aristode.
We have a better idea. This kind of fell on us pretty fast these last few days. So if we have a little more lead time, I think we'll definitely want to look at Evan and CD, and kind of some roles that can kind of help, give us a little more depth.
Do you have any longer-term plans without Dwayne, like maybe playing Deli a little more?
Yeah, I think the plan was to play Deli more. I'm surprised he only ended up with 21 minutes, but I'll have to look at that for sure. That was definitely a plan to play him more.
Kelvin, you mentioned obviously Evan Nelson in that first segment. How does he maybe play into this? Because obviously you're talking about Peat in a big and Dwayne Aristode in more of a big wing. These aren't any of the, quote, guards that are injured. But how does maybe more minutes for Evan Nelson kind of play into this scenario?
Well, what happens is everybody gets bumped over. So Berries is going to have to play the 3. Bradley may have to play some 2. And Nelson can come in and guard the 1 or the 2 as far as defensive, because you always more so think about it on the defensive end of the court. And I think, having a guy like Ivan Korchikov, he can play some 4. He can play some 4 and continue to play the wing. So I think having Evan, he helps you have another guard that can play. I think Deli gets more minutes, so you're going to need another guy to rest Berries and Jaden Bradley as well. So that definitely opens up some minutes. The question is going to be, who do you start? Who do you start? Do you start a Waka and keep your size, or do you put Yvonne at the 4 and start Deli? Which I would love to see Deli start J-Dub. Hear me out on this, because I think Deli is more of a guy that plays better starting the game. I think he started his whole career. He even started last year, his first year here. Okay, and now that, he took the role on, but I would just love to see him get a start and see how that happens. So go small.
Yeah, there's no doubt that the versatility defensively of this team, DK, is going to show up big time with these injuries, because you talk about Ivan Korchenkov and Dwayne Aristode are 2 guys you could expect could guard 2, 3, 4, even 1 in a certain situation. So because of that, like Kelvin said, I think the starting lineups will be based mostly on matchups. So if you have a little bit of an undersized team you're facing, you could definitely see some maneuverability there. But like Kelvin just said, you've got different guys who can slide over. Obviously, Braden Burries has shown he can play the 1, can bring the ball up quite a bit. So sliding JB over to the 2 and so forth and so on will work out. I think you have to stay big, though. I think the 3 bigs is really what defined this team move throughout the season up to the 23 wins. And having Tobe Awaka's presence in there is so important for that paint dominance that they're looking for. So it'll be interesting to see. They have options, and that's never a bad thing. You worry about, the 8 starters, more or less, 7 starters, and a freshman in Dwayne Aristode who's kind of, figuring out after coming off an injury year. That luxury no longer there. You just kind of have to figure out who can play the extra, those 35, 36, 37 minutes, DK, when everybody's been in the 31, 32 to this point. You're just going to have to put a little bit extra in there, and the rotation's just going to be a little bit shorter.
It's a very interesting question to ask in terms of who now comes into that starting lineup. We want to know what you have to say on that. 520-848-1290. Give us a call. Give us a text. Who would you put in the starting lineup? Would you put Tobe Awaka in there? Would you put maybe Anthony Del Orso, as Kelvin Ifan suggested, into the starting lineup?
If you need some shots, Sven Jotmo can get some shots up too, so he's available.
Sven Jotmo, maybe a candidate potentially to be in the starting lineup. Now, I said this last week that you're talking about a young team. And if there's one thing that was maybe a bit of a concern was the fact that these guys had not necessarily been through this type of collegiate situation, well, never been through this type of collegiate situation, let alone playing in a conference like this. And Tommy was asked if he felt like fatigue was starting to set in at all with this team.
And I think for everybody it is. I mean, you just got to be honest with yourself. We're all human. I mean, the season's been long, but, obviously you can see some injuries and illnesses are starting to pile up and catch up with us a little bit. But, if you think you're going to go through a season unscathed, you've never done this before. So, we need to keep at it. We need to keep our heads high. There's no shame in losing to Texas Tech today. I mean, we wish we would have came out on top. We didn't. We gotta learn from it, and understand we're still a really good team and keep building.
Yeah, guys, I mean, when you look at the fact that fatigue, and it's interesting, Kelvin, because you talked about it a little bit after the game the other night, about how the guys for Texas Tech, I mean, they all played Christian Anderson played 45 minutes. You had two of the guys that played 44 minutes. And I go back to what you were talking about earlier in the season about, how, we had callers and people texting, why is he not playing the backups more? Why are those guys not getting in the game? And one of the things you said was, well, you got to start training these starters to have to play deep into some of these games. Now we're starting to see those moments. So there's that side of it that you have to deal with. But then there's the other side as well. If you had played some of these guys like C.D. Gay and Evan Nelson a little bit more early on, they might have been ready for now these opportunities now where you've got some injuries and some guys that are not there and they have to step in. It's a kind of an interesting balance from the coaching side of it, Kelvin.
It is. And it's one of those things to where, you're trying to get a group of guys to have some chemistry together. So it's hard to go 9-10 deep, right? So you're trying to get those starters going, and it's hard to question it. I mean, 23-0 to start the season, it's hard to question the way they did it. Now, again, you lose by 3, you lose by 4, or whatever it was against Kansas at their house. Now you're looking at yourself a little bit. But again, you look at any team in the nation, they're playing 6 to 7 guys 30 minutes. I mean, that's just what it is. That's what you have to do, because whenever you get in a tight game, you're gonna stick to those guys. Now, yes, I wish we could have played Evan Nelson a little bit more, because I know we were gonna need him. But that's the reason why you get a senior, because hopefully he understands to the type of work that you need him to do at practice. So when these type of opportunities come, he's ready to go. And you heard Coach mention his name. So he must have some type of confidence, because he would know at this point in the season if he could trust Evan at this point or not. And evidently he does, because he mentioned him in his press conference that, let's see how we can use him to help us, get over the hump.
Yeah, I think if you look at Evan Nelson as a bit of an insurance policy kind of situation, where clearly 4 years in college basketball. I mean, he knows how to bring the ball up against pressure. He knows how to take care of the rock, those kind of things. The one factor, DK, we don't talk about enough is that this team's 8-man rotation includes 4 freshmen. The 4 freshmen led them many of those games to a 23-0 record. So you stop thinking of them as first-year players in college basketball. But I think a lot of those late-game scenarios, when we're talking about Dwayne Aristode, Ivan Karchenkov, even Peat and Braden Burries, I think Coach made the choice to keep those guys in later than some fans may want, right, to try to get Evan Nelson, C.D. Gay some more minutes, because they're 4 freshmen. And they're still working on a lot of things behind the scenes. A lot of those late game scenarios, a lot of times the coaching staff, Kelvin, is asking some of those young guys to make sure that they work on some stuff moving forward so that they're as prepared as they can be for late season stuff. So 4 freshmen is tough in your 8-man rotation, because you really got to get those guys as much time as possible when you're counting on them to be big-time players down the stretch. I think you know exactly what Evan Nelson's going to bring. I think C.D. Gay, Kelvin's not going to be asked to do a whole bunch, like create his own shot. He's going to be asked to come off block shots, rebound, and do some post-ups, little half hooks and that kind of thing. But with him, you're not really worried as much about him being overwhelmed because he's not being asked too much. Elvin Nelson's been there, done that. So both those guys, I think, could come in right now and give you 10 solid minutes if needed.
All right, let's pause 10 seconds for station identification. You're listening to Meridian Wealth Management, Arizona Game Day.
Wildcats Radio 1290 studios are brought to you by ICCU at ICCU.com. KCUB Tucson, a Cumulus media station.
It is Meridian Wealth Management, Arizona Game Day, getting you set for the Wildcats and the BYU Cougars tonight at McKale Center. Cougars are going to be without one of their stars, Richie Saunders, who suffered a season-ending ACL injury in the opening minute of the game Saturday. 90-86 overtime victory over the Colorado Buffaloes. AJ DeBonsa on losing their leader.
Not super confident. I mean, I see these guys in practice, so, Tanamura stepped up. Alexei, y'all seen it in numerous games. They can come in and hit threes and play defense. So, it's definitely hard because, he brings so much shot making. He brings so much offensive rebounding, defensive rebounding, and he was just like low-key, like our vocal leader, a vet on the team. But, I have confidence in the guys to step up. I think Mook can step up some more, hit some shots. Tyler, Mihai came off the bench. I think everybody just has a chance, and everybody's going to step into their roles.
Well, and A.J. DeBonsa, all he did last week in helping them get off that losing streak and win 2 straight was get named Big 12 Newcomer of the Week for the 5th time. 5th time this season, A.J. DeBonsa has been the Big 12 Newcomer of the Week. He averaged 28 points, 9 rebounds, 8 assists, and 2 steals in those wins over Baylor and Colorado.
Well, he is leading the nation in scoring by a full point per game.
Yeah.
AJ DeBonsa, number one, the nation's leading scorer, Kelvin, if people didn't know, 24.5 a game.
Yeah. Big time score.
Big time indeed. All right, let's get a break in here. We'll come back. We're going to get our view from courtside. We'll go over all of this with Saul Bookman from All City Network. Get Saul's thoughts on what's happening right now with the Arizona Wildcats, who've lost 2 in a row. It's Meridian Wealth Management, Arizona Game Day, and you're listening to Wildcats Radio 1290.
That's our first look at the game. Brought to you by the Window Depot. The Window Depot. Lowest prices and biggest inventory. Shop thewindow.depot.com. This is Wildcats Radio 1290.
And don't forget, Window Depot also sponsors Arizona's top rebounding performance every night. It's the Window Depot Glass Cleaner of the Game. Might be the Wildcat with the most rebounds. Could be the U of A star with the most impactful boards. Could be somebody from the other team if the Wildcats lose. We'll tell you the Window Depot Glass Cleaner of the Game coming up tonight. Meridian Wealth Management, Arizona Game Day, the post-game show. This is Wildcats Radio 1290.
Think of waking up with energy, standing tall and feeling free. Think First Chiropractic, good health is to enjoy.
First Chiropractic is pleased to announce that Access Health Plans now cover chiropractic care. A referral by your PCP is required. For more information, go to firstchiro.com, the most trusted name in chiropractic care, a proud U of A radio sponsor.
First Chiropractic, good health is to enjoy.
Back your hometown favorite. Get your very own exclusive University of Arizona debit card from Hughes Federal Credit Union. Pair your new card with a free checking account that earns dividends with no monthly fees, no minimum balance, and convenient 24/7 online and mobile banking. Visit one of our 7 convenient branch locations to get your card instantly or open an account online at hughesfcu.org/wildcats. Show your Wildcat spirit all year long with Hughes Federal Credit Union. Certain restrictions apply. Insured by NCUA.
So, what is it that scares you the most?
The blue trucks from Essential Pest Control, Doctor. They leave bugs belly up.
I use one of those national companies.
Thanks, Doc. Those guys don't bother me.
Spring is bug season. Go blue with Essential Pest Control. We'll eliminate those bugs, bees, and termites. Buy local and stop paying too much with those national providers. Essential Pest Control is a bug's worst nightmare.
I can't sleep at night.
Essential Pest Control. Call 866-3029. That's 866-3029. Or visit essentialpest.com.
Do you often worry you left your garage door open? With the LiftMaster Garage Door Opener powered by MyQ, you'll never worry again. You can control, secure, and monitor your garage from your smartphone anytime from anywhere through the MyQ app. As an authorized LiftMaster dealer, we have smart openers designed for your needs, including belt drive motors for ultra-quiet operation, integrated camera for live video streaming, and battery backup that lets you in when the power is out. The team at Kaiser Garage Doors and Gates are your locally owned LiftMaster professionals. Visit kaisergarage.com to learn more.
Ready to score a new vehicle? Whether you are looking for a new car, truck, or electric vehicle, at Royal Kia, we know exactly what you want. A quality vehicle at a great price and to be treated fairly. We stand by our transparent online pricing, offer a 72-hour buyback guarantee, and you work with our no-pressure, non-commissioned sales staff. Royal Kia, the dealership that's different. OAC plus tax, title, license, dealer installed options, and $589 doc fee. Royal Kia, Speedway in Columbus, or royalkia.com.
The dice are hot and the cash is calling at Casino del Sol. Every day, swipe your Club Soul card for a free entry into our Friday drawings at 6 p.m., 7 p.m., and 8 p.m. Plus, every 250 slot or table points gets you an extra entry. If your name is drawn, you'll step up and roll the dice. And if you hit 5 of a kind, you'll take home $5,000 in cool cash. Only at Casino del Sol, an enterprise of the Pasquayaki tribe.
Hi, I'm Jordan Benjamin with Done Right Services. When your home or business needs HVAC, plumbing services, or electrical work, choose a genuine local Tucson company, Done Right Services. With decades of trusted experience and upfront pricing, Done Right Services treats every customer like a valued neighbor. From upgrades to urgent repairs, our licensed professionals deliver quality, care, and craftsmanship you can count on, getting it done right. Call Done Right Services today at 520-369-3966 because you deserve it done right.
JT Auto, where their customers are family. Stop by their newest East Side location, conveniently located at 6947 East 22nd, just west of Cole. Open Monday through Friday. JT Auto is a full-service auto shop with satisfaction guarantee, offering you the best in tires and wheels, auto repair, oil changes, computer diagnostics, suspension and brake service, and heating and AC. Bring your car to JT Auto, where their customers are family. 372-7704. That's 372-7704. Or jtautoaz.com.
Our Window Depot coverage of U of A basketball continues. This is the Meridian Wealth Management Arizona Gameday pregame show on Wildcats Radio 1290. Now, back to your hosts, David Kelly, the captain Kelvin Yvonne, and J.W. Madden.
Bradley on the wing. Bradley driving into the paint. Left corner, buries rainbow three. That's over the rim, no good. A walk at the offensive rebound. Shovel at Krivas. His shot up, bounce and goes.
How about an offensive rebound for Tobe Awaka? Just timely for the big fella.
It's time now for us to take you down to the front row of the arena. A view from courtside is brought to you by Kaiser Garage Door and Gates. Kaiser serving Southern Arizona over 30 years.
All right, our view from courtside today comes from Arizona Wildcat alum Saul Bookman with All City Networks. He has been all over covering your Arizona Wildcats this season. It sounds like he's on the drive down from the Valley right now for today's game. Saul, appreciate you joining us. Saul also hosts the McKale Madness podcast with our guy Corey Williams. So Saul, I got to ask you, is it now are you renaming it McKale at ALKEME Arena Madness?
No, never, ever, never. No. Now, listen. If somebody else wants to sponsor the pod, we'd be more than happy to change the name. But yeah, no, not doing that.
Well, so your thoughts on the new name of the arena? Your the new sponsorship name?
It's kind of meh. Listen, I'm not a financial expert, but dang, they only got $27 million for 15 years. That's like, I feel like that's a bargain basement price in my opinion. 1.8 by the time that gets to year 15, that's going to be like, what $100,000 is today. So I don't know. It's really non-impactful. That $27 million, I don't see how they could stretch that into significant contributions across the board. But maybe I'm wrong.
Right. Yeah. I don't understand the numbers of it as well. I don't know that there's, and obviously they said it was the most significant in the conference. I'm not sure, what other naming rights are out there. I know that the Sun Devils have a name on their building as well. Do you have any idea what the numbers are on theirs?
No, I don't. I know it's lower, but I think that's kind of misleading too, because I was talking to somebody else about that. And I said, well, what does the Marriott Center go for?
Right.
Well, BYU's a private institution, so it might not count towards that, in terms of public universities. So that could be misleading because I would assume that a brand like the Marriott would invest a little bit more than $27 million over the course of 15 years.
Right. We're chatting with Saul Bookman from All City Networks. It is your view from courtside, and it's brought to you by Kaiser Garage Doors and Gates. Kaiser has been serving Arizona now for over 30 years. All right, Saul, how have you assessed these last two games for Arizona?
I mean, they've been pretty tough, obviously, and I think Koa's injury probably had more of an impact than we realized. I saw him tweak his leg against Kansas.
Yeah.
Felt like something might be a little bit off. He came out for a little bit, but then he came back into the game. So when he started on Saturday, I thought that was a great sign. Unfortunately, it was just a precursor to something that was probably going to be a longer stretch, and I imagine he'll be out for a couple games. But overall, I think when you shake it up, and we're going to see two teams that are dealing with that today, with significant losses on their roster. And how do you adjust? And I think adjusting on the fly, it can be difficult, especially when the other team is at full strength. And I think against Kansas and against Texas Tech, you kind of saw a little bit of that. But the other part is listen, I think Arizona got away with some fortunate bounces a couple times, but more importantly, they were able to execute down the stretch of some of these games. And in these last two games, they have just not been able to find that additional scorer when it's been needed the most. And I think they rely on Jaden Bradley to do that. But Braden Burries has been that guy of late. He did it against Kansas, hit the big three to cut it to 1. The other night, he wasn't really a factor down the stretch. They got to find a little bit more versatility in terms of how they're going to get effective buckets, in the waning moments of these games. Because both games were winnable. That's the thing that I'll take away. Both games were winnable. Texas Tech is no slouch. Hopefully JT Toppin is going to be okay because nobody wants to see one of the best players in the Big 12 go down and stay down. But I think Arizona is going to be fine. They might go through it. They might get through it, right? Tonight, I feel like they're going to win tonight, but Houston's not going to be a cakewalk whatsoever. Houston's definitely one of those games where the unexpected players would have to have big time games in order to beat somebody like Houston when you're down two bodies. Potentially two bodies. We still don't know about Aristode for Saturday.
Well, we were talking about in our first segment, Saul, obviously this is going to be the first night this year that Tommy Lloyd has to throw out a different starting lineup. So who would you start? Kelvin suggested that he feels maybe it's a better option to start Anthony Del Orso because that's maybe more of a role that he's used to versus coming off the bench, Toby versus Anthony. How would you go?
I would fight anybody that would tell me. Listen, I don't want any beef with Kelvin Ifon, but I would go with Toby Awaka all day. The one benefit that Arizona has is that they could outmuscle and outsize BYU, and I think Toby is built for longevity and endurance. Krivas could come out of the game here and there for sure. You can supplement him with CD Gay, but I think overall, I definitely would go with Awaka. If you go with Delhi, it's not a big deal. That's fine. I think Delhi needs to start to step up, especially now. He needs to start hitting some threes. He needs to be a bona fide contributor on the offensive side. But because he hasn't shown that penchant to do so, I would rather for the consistency of Toby Awaka and the beef.
Kelvin, would you like to throw a punch back?
Yes, sir. Well, first of all, my first reason why I would like to go with Awaka off the bench is because I'm worried about him getting early foul trouble. And when he gets early foul trouble, he's not as effective as he usually is. So that's my first. So I believe that having Del Orso start, which was the role that he's used to. Awaka came from Tennessee. He's never was a starter. So he's comfortable coming off the bench and giving great effort. I just think giving Del Orso that start, light a fire in him, and maybe he can get some shots going from the perimeter and force the defense to play him a little bit more. And also it's because I'm confident that what about the matchup with AJ? Who's going to guard him in that starting lineup? You had Cole Peat before, but you're going to put a Walker on AJ for the start of the game?
No, I think the first matchup you had a combination of Koa and a couple other guys that were not Ivan Karchenkov. I think this time you would go with Ivan Karchenkov. I think you don't even mess around with it. I think you just put Karchenkov on Davanta and go and take your bumps and bruises if you need to.
The one reason I would agree with Kelvin on that is because I think, and I thought he hit the point there, you got to find a way to get Anthony Delorso going. I mean, again, there's still a lot of season to go, but we're getting down to that point where he's got to become something a little bit better of a contributor for this team. And if putting him in the starting lineup is what gets him going, then I might at least try to make that move. Maybe not. Maybe again, like you may have a couple games. I don't know how many games you're going to have to deal with this situation, 2 to 3, but I would at least try it once.
For that perspective, I would agree. For that singular perspective, I absolutely would agree. You do got to get them going. I don't care how you do it. You got to find a way. I was a little disappointed that Tommy didn't play Delorso a little bit more against Texas Tech because he hit the three, and then we really didn't get to see him for the rest of that game. And I thought that could have been an awesome opportunity for him to, find his juice. He's missing his juice. He's got to find something. And it looked like he was playing pretty well, just didn't get a lot of burn.
And I wanted to add this too. I think AJ is going to play more of the stretch 4, and I think having Yvonne start at the 4 in this game helps us because he's going to have to guard him anyway. And then they play 3 guards as well, so they basically 4 guards with AJ at the 4. Now, again, I love our size, but I just wouldn't want to put a Walker in a situation where you have Karchenko playing the 5, and then you have him playing the 4 trying to guard AJ at the beginning of the game. And you know how AJ, I guarantee you, he's the highest free throw shooter attempt guy in the league. And you don't want your power forward or Walker having to try to guard him on the perimeter. That would be a nightmare early in the game.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I don't know if I'm really too concerned about BYU's 3 guards. If they do start 3 guards, because without none of the third guy is not going to be anything close to what Richie Saunders was. And now that he's out for the season, I'm not. There's nobody else out there that's really a big threat outside of Davis, who we saw the first time around in Provo that hit some big time shots to keep them in the game.
Right.
But listen, they barely beat Colorado, and Robert Wright had to have the game of his life to do it. 39 points. That was insane. I just don't see that same kind of level of output at McKale in a hostile environment with a team in the Wildcats that's desperate for a win. They can't drop this one and go to Houston. That might be 4 in a row when you're looking at it. So they know they need this one.
We're chatting with Saul Bookman from All City Networks. It is Your View from Courtside. It's brought to you by Kaiser Garage Doors and Gates. Kaiser has been serving Arizona now for over 40 years. Saul, we saw a little bit of C.D. Gay in that game on Saturday. Tommy talked earlier in the season about how he told him that there might be a moment where he's needed. Have we reached that moment? And how much C.D. Gay do you think we could potentially see tonight going forward?
Oh, absolutely. We've hit the moment. Oh yeah, we've hit the moment. He's going to play. I asked him in the post game on Saturday if he anticipated playing him some more, and he didn't even hesitate. He was like, "Yep, absolutely." And so CD's going to get some burn. He's going to get some time on the court. With CD, it's funky because he's such a scrawny kid, but he's got such great length, and he can block your shot. He can get off the ground pretty quick. So defensively, it's can he anticipate without getting out physicaled down low? If you put him up against Kiba, then that's probably not a great matchup because Kiba can jump just as high as anybody else in the country. Yeah. But when you're looking at some of the other bigs in the Big 12, he might be able to fare pretty well. And tonight, it's going to be really interesting to see how BYU tries to match up with Arizona when CD is on the floor. CD's got to play strong. because of his wiry frame, he tends to get knocked off the block a little too easy, gets banged around, gets pushed around a little too easy. But it's a little bit different when you know you're going into a game and you know you're going to be playing. And you know the expectations are high in terms of what you can contribute to the team. So I would anticipate CD playing a little bit stronger, a little bit more assured of himself now that he's gotten a couple practices in the game plan. And I would anticipate him probably getting, I would say, if he gave like 10 to 15 minutes, that's a win for Arizona.
Wow, 10 to 15 minutes. When does the next McKale Madness podcast drop?
Every Thursday at 7 o'clock. So tomorrow night, Corey and I will be doing our thing and talking about this game and probably more about that game in Houston, which I will be at. And it should be fun. That's one of the more exciting games of the year.
There you go. Saturday in Houston. Saltbook. See, I should have held you for Saturday. I didn't know you were going to be there, but we appreciate you, Saul.
Hey, listen. Nothing says I can't come back now.
That's true. We try to spread the wealth. We don't want to use up everybody too much, but we might have you on the regular show next week if it turns into something really exciting to talk about for sure. Saul, safe travels down here, safe travels to Houston, and we will definitely catch up with you down the line.
All right, thanks, fellas. Appreciate you.
Saul Bookman from the McKale Madness Podcast, All City Network, with your view from courtside.
We hope you enjoyed your view from courtside. It was brought to you by Kaiser Garage Door and Gates. Kaiser has been serving Southern Arizona for over 30 years. This is Meridian Wealth Management Arizona Gameday. Hour 1 of the pregame show is brought to you by Advantage Air and Mechanical, Cactus Auto Company, Casino del Sol, Done Right Services, Drain Masters, First Chiropractic, Idaho Central Credit Union, Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care, Picture Rocks Cooling, Heating, and Plumbing, Royal GMC, Buick and Cadillac, Royal Kia, Royal Jaguar Land Rover, The Window Depot, and by Meridian Wealth Management. Wealth well managed, life well lived.
Why do I spend so much time educating our youth about financial wellness? I have seen the fire ignite inside of young adults when I show them how the power of compound investing can change their futures. This is Natalie Fernandez at Meridian Wealth Management, and I'm committed to affecting change with our youth. An idea for all of you listening today, gift a Roth IRA contribution for the holidays or birthdays for your kids and grandkids. Contact our office at 520-719-1433 for guidance and details. The change begins with us.
Advisory services provided by Meridian Wealth Management, a registered investment advisor.
Morning begins in the Rincon foothills. Rocking K, a master planned community and place to call home, offering distinct neighborhoods designed to fit your lifestyle. Explore the outdoors, walk the trails, visit Saguaro National Park. Enjoy community parks and make new friends at Rocking K resident events. Walk to Vail School District's newest campus in Rocking K, Saguaro Creek. 17 model homes, 6 quality builders, move-in ready homes available from the 300s. Rocking K, designed by nature. A community by design.
It's your time to shine. This is Desert Diamond Casino, the spot with Arizona's only hometown sportsbook, the hottest slots and tables, and off-the-charts energy you won't find anywhere else. Here, there's always a fun-filled, action-packed, downright unforgettable night right around the corner. So let your hair down, turn the sparkle all the way up. It's time to live the diamond life. Desert Diamond Casino.
An enterprise of the Tohono O'odham Nation.
Coach, Tommy Lloyd here with the Right Way team.
Thinking about replacing your heating and air system? It's February at Right Way.
These are some of the slowest months of the year. We have equipment in stock and our crews are available.
And we're including an 80% furnace absolutely free with the purchase of an air conditioning system.
And if that's not enough, we're offering up to 60 months no interest financing, manufacturer and energy efficiency rebates, and 10-year parts and labor warranty.
Call or text 520-200-2422 today or visit rightwayac.com.
If it's worth doing, do it the right way.
Get your backyard summer ready with a custom pool from First Choice Pools. A backyard oasis built around you.
First Choice is a full-service builder of beautiful in-ground pools and backyard designs for years of staycations. If you want to dive in this summer, now is the time to visit TucsonPoolBuilder.com. First Choice pools for installs, renovation, remodeling, and repair. Get started today at TucsonPoolBuilder.com. Ask about our 60-day pool. To be summer ready, First Choice is the only choice.
At Goldberg and Osborne, we know Arizona. It's where we live. It's where we work. It's where we've fought and won cases for the injured since 1989. Throughout our history, we've approached every case with a single focus: you. And we've got thousands of 5-star reviews to prove it. Put us to work for you by calling 1-800-THE-EAGLE today.
The Target, 422 Maple Drive. No tripped alarms, no broken windows. While you were sleeping, they made off with $50,000 in equity, and they didn't even use a getaway car.
Nate here, owner of Blue Sky Pest Control. Don't let termites turn your equity into sawdust. We stop the heist before the damage is done. Call 520-201-2000 for your free termite inspection. Hello, Blue Sky. Goodbye, termites.
Now is the perfect time to start your next home renovation project. At the Window Depot, you get factory direct prices, no installers, no middleman, and serious savings. Windows, doors, cabinets, countertops, all in stock and ready to take home today. Perfect for DIYers and contractors who want to save thousands and get materials fast. Your project, your timeline, the best prices. Shop online at thewindowdepot.com or visit a location near you.
Wildcat Nation, are you ready?
Bradley down into the lane, lay it up and good. Previous turnaround jump hook is good. Del Orso springs a 3 out there and drains it. Milwaukee takes away the rebound and slams it home.
It's a man's game.
Bear down, Cats. Our Window Depot coverage of University of Arizona basketball continues with Meridian Wealth Management Arizona Game Day. The pregame show is brought to you by Meridian Wealth Management. Wealth well managed, life well lived. We are counting down to tip off for Arizona Wildcats basketball. This is Wildcats Radio, 1290.
But I am happy, and here's why I'm happy. I'm going to go to the hospital right now, and I'm going to go see my granddaughter that was just born at halftime. London May Lloyd was born at halftime on February 14th. So I'm going to go see her, hang out with her, and reset like a normal person. I love you guys. We're fine. And I can't wait to get this team back on the court and kick some ass.
Let's take a look at the Right Way Rundown and see what's coming up on our pregame show. Brought to you by Right Way Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing. Doing things the right way.
And congratulations to Tommy's son, Liam, and his lovely wife, Haley. Parents for a second time with the birth of the daughter to go along with son, Luca. That happening on Valentine's Day during the ball game. I was wondering why I didn't see Liam at the game. On Saturday, he had a few important things to take care of there. So congratulations to the young parents. Hour number 2 of our show, we will shine a spotlight on a cat. Caleb Love was in the building on Saturday. He was raised into the Ring of Honor as the Pac-12 Player of the Year from the 2024 season, representing the Arizona Wildcats. So we'll hear from Caleb Love. DK with TL. My questions this week to the head coach of your Arizona Wildcats, presented by Hughes Federal Credit Union. We'll check the college basketball scoreboard. Goldberg at Osborne has things going there. The injury lawyers, Michigan survived a tough one on the road. They continue to be the best team in college basketball at the moment. Spencer Litton from BYU TV is going to join us. He'll have your scouting report. That's brought to you by Jack Ferrier Tire and Auto Care. Who'll be that Cougar that gets underneath the Wildcats' skin tonight? We'll lay out all of the guys that are possibilities. Essential Pest Control brings you your pest of the game. Can anyone beat the book? Up on the board at Sol Sports, the Casino del Sol, Arizona 12.5-point favorite in this game tonight over the Cougars. You're over under a little higher than Saturday at 162.5. Royal Automotive brings you your keys to the game, what Kelvin, I, and J.W. Madden think the Wildcats need to do to win tonight, and your starting lineup. It'll be different for the first time this season. I don't know if we'll get the actual starting lineup. Maybe we will. We may have to just kind of guess who might be in there.
I got some people on the inside of McKale, so I'll do some texting.
Okay, you got some people. I like people on the inside for sure. All right, let us shine a spotlight on the cat.
Our pregame show, Spotlight on a Cat, is brought to you by O'Reilly Chevrolet. Get more with O'Reilly Chevrolet.
Moffitt will take it down himself, hand the ball off to Louis Jacques. His pass stolen by Caleb Love on a breakaway. Love slams it home with the right hand.
Kicks to Mitchell, bobbles. His three is rejected right back in his face by Love, and that's a shot clock violation. What a defensive play by Caleb Love.
Pulls it down. Shot clock is off. KJ Lewis the other way. Caleb Love fires for three. That's good from Caleb Love. We got a tie ball game at 66 with 14 seconds to go here in the ball game. What a shot from Caleb Love.
Man, look at that. We have 3-4 different announcers there for Caleb Love during his time here as an Arizona Wildcats. Heard a little Brian Jeffries, a little Brody Dryden. I think that was the one guy that did the Duke game a few years ago from Learfield. Also, I don't remember his name. Sorry. Let's hear from Caleb Love. He was in town, Ring of Honor, spoke with the media prior to the game on Saturday about his time at the University of Arizona and his hot start to his NBA career, in which he has gotten a significant amount of playing time due to injuries with the Portland Trail Blazers.
The day he's being inducted to our Ring of Honor, so congratulations, Caleb. We appreciate you making time out of your schedule to come back. Open it up for questions for Caleb for a few minutes.
Caleb, what does this honor mean to you?
It means the world, man. It's a blessing. I thank the man above for getting me to this point, but been a long journey for me, ups and downs, everything in between, but I wouldn't trade it for nothing, and, the decision I made to come to Arizona is one of the best decisions I made.
Based on what you've been able to do so far as a rookie, do you feel like you've proved some people wrong that maybe didn't think that you could do it?
Yeah, for sure. And I don't think it's really proving people wrong. I think it's just proving myself right, and just believing in myself, continuing to put in the work and trust in my work, and just going out there and performing to the best of my ability. So I definitely feel like I definitely turned some heads and maybe did some things that people may have thought that I wasn't capable of, but and I'm still trying to prove myself. I'm still trying to continue to stamp my name, and I just think that's something that's important to me.
How do you think Arizona prepared you for the success you're having in the NBA right now?
I thank Tommy a lot because, he kind of runs an NBA-style offense with, how fast-paced it is and, how heavy ball screens and things like that. And so I definitely, give a lot of credit to, him and the coaching staff with, how they run things. And then as far as, like, the player development side, that definitely translates from here to, to the league. And so I think this program and, this what Tommy is building and what he's built so far is definitely going to help you get to the league for sure.
You were going into your last year at Arizona, and you went through the draft process. What did you learn from that experience, and how did you evolve your game into a guy that can play at the next level?
Just being more sharp on a lot of things as far as, getting to your spots. And then on the defensive end, you got to be able to guard at the next level. So, just staying in condition, being more efficient and consistent in your workouts. The things that you're doing in your workouts, make sure it translates to the game. So I just think just being more intentional as far as, when you're training and things like that, focusing on the specific things that you need to get better at and the things that's, you're going to be doing out there on the floor.
In what ways has a guy like Dame Lillard helped you translate to the NBA?
He's been, a big help of mine. He's been like, the OG of my generation. So I just think, just having him, that's my favorite player. Just having him right there by my side, being able to, give me tips, give me pointers on things that, that can help me. I think that's just been a great, resource for me.
When you look at Braden Burries' game, like what do you see in his game? Because I know when he was brought in, he's obviously filling your position out there on the court. So what do you see of Braden Burries?
Just his composure out there. He never looks rattled. And he's been progressing, each and every game. I've been watching his progress. He may have started out a little slow, but now he's in groove, and you can see it out there on the floor. And I just think, obviously his shot making, but, his ability to create his own shot. That's tough to do, and, doing it on a nightly basis is also tough in the Big 12. So I just think he has a lot of composure in his game, a lot of skill. Obviously the shot making, but, he can guard multiple positions and things like that. So he's been having a great year, and I'm going to continue to, watch his progress.
How much have you been able to watch games this year?
I've been watching every game. Yeah. Even if we sometimes have games on the same day, but I'm in the locker room before the game because I'm so invested in it, and I'm so happy to see the start that we've had. But yeah, at halftime I'm checking my phone to see what the score is. So yeah, I'm definitely invested in. When I left Arizona, this is always going to be home.
Caleb, what was your welcome to the NBA moment?
Welcome to the NBA moment. Probably coming off the bench. I never came off the bench ever in my life, so that's something that let alone I got DNPs, so that was different. But on the positive side, I say going head to head with Steph and Golden State. That was another one.
How did you, rewire your brain to become a reserve player, a role player, when you were, used to being the guy growing up?
Yeah, you just got to be a pro. You got to be a professional about it. You can't be, looking down or, being sorry for yourself or saying I deserve this or I deserve that, because, it's a business at the end of the day, and you got to come in, be a professional, and you just always got to continue to adjust. Your role may be different on a night-to-night basis, especially with me. I may need to score more this night. I may need to facilitate more. I may just need to play defense this night, picking up full court, things like that. So I think, it's definitely been an adjustment for sure. But, the more and more I get games under my belt, the more and more I get more comfortable.
How much did Portland's style of play with how aggressive they want you to be on both ends help you?
I think it fits my game well. The defensive part, I think defense is just, as far as on the ball is hard, and want to. But, off the ball is, you got to have a little bit of savvy, have some defensive IQ, know where you at, know where, other guys are going to be on the floor, and just sticking to your principles on that side of the floor. And then on offense, just playing within the flow. Not trying to do too much, not trying to, but not playing conservative either, where you playing like you're scared. Just being yourself. I played the game, a long time, pretty much all my life. So, like I said, the more and more games I get under my belt, the more and more, comfortable I get, and it's definitely been showing.
After games, you would be sitting in the stands after the games with your family and kind of talk through things. And obviously, I don't know what those conversations were like, but I imagine whether it was a good game or a bad game, you guys would talk about a lot of different things. How has their support really helped you get through some of the ups and the downs and really getting into the NBA life and trying to figure things out as an undrafted free agent?
Their support has been great, man. So, throughout my whole career, my whole life, on and off the court, they've been there for me. Whether I have a good game, like you said, or a bad game, they're always going to be there. They're my biggest critic, but they're also my biggest lovers. So, I need some of that though. I need the criticism. I need the hard talks at times. But their support has been great. It's definitely got me through a lot of tough times, and I can't thank God enough for having a support system that I have.
On a day like today, with an honor like this, what do you think your Grandpa Benny would say?
He'll be proud of me. He'll be proud of me. He'll tell me, just to keep going. This is only the beginning. And, we got a lot more accomplishments to, go capture.
What kind of goals do you have set going into the second half now that you kind of adjusted a little bit to the NBA and you know what to expect?
I think, not playing with, pressure, just going out there hooping. And, I know that's easier said than done, but, I think I put a lot of pressure on myself in the past, few years, trying to perform at, my best ability. And I think when I just go out there and play free, I think that's when I'm at my best. So just taking that pressure off me and, just going out there doing what I do.
Just has it been being back here in Tucson, college game day this morning? Have you been to any of your favorite spots from when you were here, or caught up with friends and family and those types of things?
Yeah, so I got here yesterday, and I met with my family. We ate dinner, and then I got touched up with some of my guys, my old teammates. So it's been great though. College game day was a great environment. The fans showed up and showed out as per usual, and I'm just looking forward to the game tonight.
Just your thoughts on the growth of Jaden Bradley and what you've seen out of him taking on more of that leadership role and the lead guy.
Yeah, I'm extremely proud of JB. Extremely happy for him. That was like my right hand man on the court last year. With him just being as savvy as he is, being as skilled. Him sacrificing a lot because, JB could, go for 25 any night he wanted to, but he sacrificed for the team where, he can go get 10 assists as well. So I just think his ability to adjust and adapt to any situation and, his, even keel mindset has been great and it's showing, he's one of the best point guards in the country, if not the best, in my opinion. And, like I said, I'm definitely happy for JB. For sure. Thank you.
That's today's Spotlight on a Cat, brought to you by O'Reilly Chevrolet. Get more with O'Reilly Chevrolet.
Caleb Love back in the house, celebrated Saturday as the latest Wildcat to be raised into the Ring of Honor. Hey, tonight's game is a part of Galaxy Slam Week on campus. Galaxy Slam is highlighting the incredible achievements of U of A's scientists who explore space. Arizona will wear new navy blue uniforms designed specifically for this game. So I guess this is our space game, kind of like we've talked about that the UCF Central Florida kids have every year for both football and basketball.
Because like UCF is number 1 in funding from NASA, and Houston is number 3, and Arizona is number 4.
Oh,
right?
wow.
Like of all the universities in the country is what I read. So there's a lot of conference members in this, that we've now joined DK who are very involved. Obviously, we all know about Houston. We all know about launches from Florida, and people should know about the mirrors being built under the Arizona football stadium. You should know about, rovers and things like that. Arizona's always had a big connection with space.
We are not changing our name, however. We are still the Wildcats tonight. Nothing similar to the Citronauts or anything of that nature. Again, it's going to be a nice jersey, a navy blue uniform. Tommy Lloyd, did he have anything to do with that jersey combination tonight?
Well, listen, all things equipment-wise, I'm going to refer to Emoy, Brian Brigger. But, that was definitely an idea that, we kind of talked about as a staff, and we made some connections on the other side of campus. And I think it's really cool that to be able to combine those two forces. I love being a college basketball coach because you're part of a bigger university community. And I think that's really important. And anytime you can kind of bridge the gap between athletics and the other side of campus, I think that's really, really cool. And there's some amazing things going on at the University of Arizona that maybe don't get as much attention as basketball that need to be showcased a little bit. So I think this is a great opportunity. We're not the first people in the world to have this idea, so we don't get all the credit. I think UCF's done a good job with theirs, but this can be our own version of it because we have our own story that needs to be told. And if basketball can be a platform to help tell some of these stories, let's do it.
There you go. Absolutely. Galaxy Slam Week on campus, and tonight there'll be a New Jersey combination that you've never seen before in an Arizona Wildcats basketball game. 520-848-1290 is the number to get in on the program. Meridian Wealth Management Arizona Game Day continues after this timeout. You're listening to Wildcats Radio 1290.
This is Meridian Wealth Management Arizona Game Day, Hour 2 of the pregame show. show is brought to you by Bear Down Roofing, Dorado Rock, Essential Pest Control, Goodfellas AC, Hughes Federal Credit Union, Johnson Manley Company, JT Auto, Lexus of Tucson, Mr. Rooter, Recon Auto Detail, Right Way Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing, Rocking K, a master planned community designed by nature, Factory Direct Mattress, and by Meridian Wealth Management. Wealth well managed, life well lived.
Discover your perfect vehicle at Cactus Auto, Tucson's trusted destination for certified pre-owned cars for over 30 years. They offer a wide range of certified pre-owned vehicles featuring the brands and models you love. Their finance experts are here to provide you with top dollar trade-in offers and help you find the best financing options, regardless of your credit history. With approved credit, enjoy no payments for up to 90 days. Trust Cactus Auto for quality, affordable pre-owned cars, trucks, and SUVs, all backed by incredible savings and a 7-day exchange guarantee. Visit cactusauto.com.
Think of waking up with energy, standing tall and feeling free. Think first chiropractic, good health is to enjoy.
For over 30 years, Tucson has been putting its trust in First Chiropractic for auto and on-the-job injuries. They're locally owned and a proud sponsor of the U of A radio broadcast. So if you've been injured, make the right choice first.
First Chiropractic, good health is to enjoy. My heat and air were in a state of disrepair.
February weather in the Oak Pueblo is beautiful. It's the time of year to go outside and enjoy the great outdoors. Springtime will be coming soon, and so will the Arizona heat. Now's the time to plan for the long, hot summer that we all know is coming. Now, for a limited time, we are offering 5-year, no-interest financing on Rheem air conditioning and heating systems, OAC. Call now, 520-492-0748, or book your appointment online at PictureRocksCooling.com.
Picture Rocks Cooling, heating and plumbing.
The garage is more than a place to park your car. It holds prized possessions, and for most, it's a bustling entryway to the home. That's why LiftMaster designed the first ever opener with a built-in wide-angle camera and two-way audio, so you can see what matters and secure what's inside. Ensure your family and prized possessions are secure with a reliable garage door opener that's built to last and powered by MyQ for smartphone control. The team at Kaiser Garage Doors and Gates are your locally owned LiftMaster professionals. Visit KaiserGarage.com to learn more.
Broadway in Tucson presents the 20th anniversary season featuring 7 Tucson premieres, including Disney's Beauty and the Beast, Hell's Kitchen, Moulin Rouge, The Wiz, Back to the Future, Dr. Seuss's How the Grinch Stole Christmas, and more. Secure your signature season tickets today and get the best seats at the lowest prices. Visit BroadwayInTucson.com and secure your 2025-2026 season tickets today.
Family outgrowing your car? Hughes Federal Credit Union can help you get the car you want and the rate you need. Hughes is one of the only financial institutions in the country that doesn't switch loan rates based on a qualified buyer's credit score. That means you get our one-rate guarantee regardless of your credit score. We promise. When it's time for your next new or used car, Hughes is here to take you further. Check out our low rates on hughesfcu.org/auto and apply today. Certain restrictions apply. Insured by NCUA.
You know it, your neighbors know it, and let's face it, the mailman knows it too. Your yard just isn't what it used to be, but thankfully, Dorado Rock Materials can get you, well, your yard anyway, back to what it once was, and even better. Dorado Rock Materials has just what your yard needs, from decorative rock to boulders and everything in between, brought right to you. And if you need help spreading it, we can help with that too. Dorado Rock Materials. The right service, the right product, the right price.
Hey, man. It's me, your furnace, man. Hey, can I get a light here, man? I know we live in Arizona, so I understand I'm not, like as cool as your air conditioner. But I still need a tune-up at least once a year, man. So get the best in town, man. Goodfellas AC, bro. Hey, anybody smell that, man? I swear it wasn't me. Okay, it was me.
Good service, good prices, Goodfellas. GoodfellasAC.com.
Our Window Depot coverage of U of A basketball continues. This is the Meridian Wealth Management Arizona Game Day pregame show on Wildcats Radio 1290. Now, back to your hosts, David Kelly, the captain Kelvin Yvonne, and J.W. Madden.
Curry's with the ball. Fire it right corner. Karchinkov for 3. That's over the rim, no good. And the rebound stolen away by Awaka in the lane. Turnaround jumper's good.
Toby Awaka, 16 points, 12 rebounds in the game Saturday. Fourth double-double that he has had this season. Toby Awaka spoke after the game about this 2-game losing streak for Arizona and essentially what these guys have to do to kind of keep their even keel.
I think it's just a matter of perspective. I think I've kind of said this before, but, March is still March. You know what I mean? So if we do what we do, if we do what we're supposed to do during that stretch, all this is forgotten. That's not to say that this doesn't sting, and home losses don't sting. We know what the fans mean to us, and, just the way that they were able to pack out the stadium today and show their support and how they've been showing support throughout the whole season. It's tough. I'm not really worried about my own feelings, but theirs, the effort, the energy that they put into supporting us and making sure that we feel, like we have an army behind us. So, it's really for the fans. Where that stings, where my heart goes out. But in terms of, the young guys, again, just keeping that perspective, just knowing that, okay, we've lost 2 games. It's on to the next, and just, just trying not to let it snowball. And obviously, we have some adversity with guys not being at, 100%, but, that's what, this, college basketball, the season is like. It's a long season, and you're never too high for too long before you get kind of punched in the mouth, and there's a reality check, and you have to galvanize and build back up again. So, I think it's something that we were expecting. That we were that we knew that was going to happen, and that we just have to power through it.
Who would you start? That's one of the questions we're asking today. Would you start Toby Awaka? Would you start Anthony Del Orso? Which one will Tommy put into the starting lineup tonight? The first new starting lineup. Tommy Lloyd has rolled out the same starting 5 for all 25 games this season, but with no Peat, he will roll out a different starting 5 for the first time this season, hoping to avoid what would be just the 8th home loss of his tenure. Tommy Lloyd, 73-7 at home, playing games at McKale Center, now McKale Center at ALKEME Arena. That is tied for 6th most in home wins in the country over that span, and his 91% home winning percentage, 8th in the country as well. Let's hear from the head coach.
For all the questions you need answered, it's DK with TL. Our David Kelly asks Tommy Lloyd questions, and you get the answers. DK with TL is sponsored by Hughes Federal Credit Union. Hughes Federal Credit Union. We take you further.
Arizona lost to Texas Tech on Saturday, 78-75. Tommy Lloyd, what was the biggest thing down the stretch that cost your ball club?
We didn't close it. We got down. We gave up a 3 that you wish you wouldn't have. I think JB just lost him. I think it looked like Anderson drove. We kind of had him stopped, and JB, his guy relocated, and JB kind of lost vision of him, and it was late, and that's just an untimely error. But it happened, so hopefully we'll learn from it.
Tommy, obviously the dynamic you face in this conference weekly with the high-level games you play was much different than what you faced as an assistant coach when you were in the West Coast Conference. But you guys still performed once you got to the NCAA tournament level. How is that? How are these games different in preparing this team for that in March?
Just because you assume it's different doesn't mean it was different. And I'm not saying you're right or wrong. I'm just saying I'm approaching it the same way I learned from obviously my former boss and mentor to approach it. Day by day, steady, focus on the things that drive winning, and don't get distracted. Respect everyone. So literally, I feel the same. As it doesn't matter if it's a Big 12, a Pac-12, a WCC. We're gonna have the same approach, and I think that approach is drove some pretty consistent results.
There was a dunk, Tommy, where Toby kind of screened the guy out, backed him down to allow Koa to get to the lane. And we've seen Toby do that on a number of times this year. Is that part of the offense? Is that something he's doing just when he feels like I can screen this guy and give my guy a drive lane to get a bucket?
Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of people, do variations of that. We just call it a duck in. I mean, he's ducking in, and I think the first objective is, to get a post touch, in the charge circle. I mean, there's a lot of foul pressure there. And then, sometimes if you have a good duck in and then the guy with the ball beats his guy, the rim defender is sealed off and you can get all the way to the basket. I mean, it just happens that way sometimes. Yeah, and Tobey's good at it.
The conference announced the new glass floor at the conference tournament. What do you know about that, how it plays?
I don't know much. I mean, obviously there's been some discussions, about it internally, with them, disclosing that it's an option and they pulled the trigger. So, I hope it's pretty cool. I mean, I hope it doesn't impact play. I'm all about the game, so I hope it doesn't impact play. And if it, brings good attention to the conference, I guess that's a good thing.
Tommy, you have used the term hubris a number of times this year. We had a young man call the postgame the other day, and we asked him to spell hubris. He did. Can you spell hubris?
Can I spell it?
Yeah.
Hubris.
There you go.
I mean, yeah. I did okay in the spelling bee. That girl Jessica got me every year, though, at the end. There's 3 ways to spell there, isn't there? Yeah. So I always got stuck on that one.
And those are the questions that you needed answered. DK with TL is sponsored by Hughes Federal Credit Union. Hughes Federal Credit Union. We take you further. Wildcats Radio 1290 studios are brought to you by ICCU at ICCU.com. KCUB Tucson, a Cumulus media station.
It is Meridian Wealth Management Arizona Game Day. We're getting you set for the Wildcats and the BYU Cougars. Cougars have dropped to number 23 in the country, having lost 4 of their last 6 games, but come in with a 2-game win streak. The Wildcats are now on the losing end of 2 games in a row, having fallen out of the top spot, the unanimous number 1 team in the country for the better part of almost 5 weeks, and now just number 4 in the country. It'll be a 7 o'clock tip-off, so we're about 2 hours away from the start of tonight's game. Brian Jeffries and Ryan Hansen will have the call. You'll hear it right here on Wildcats Radio 1290 as well as K-Hit 107.5. TV side tonight, ESPN once again, second straight game. I guess Jay Billis and Chris Budden, I don't know if they stayed here because they were on the broadcast Saturday, if they just kind of hung out in Tucson all week long. Dan Schulman will be in the play-by-play seat, so a different play-by-play man, I believe. I don't think he was on the game the other day. I think somebody else was. But, Jay Billis and Chris Budden back on the game today. So Tommy can spell hubris. We mentioned the young man. That young man was Kelvin's son, KJ, who was able to spell hubris.
He had no
on
help.
The show.
No help whatsoever.
No help whatsoever.
No help.
And hey, Tommy's a smart guy. Apparently I don't know. I don't know. I'm assuming he has a master's. I don't know if we've ever gotten clarification on that, but he may have a master's degree. He's a pretty smart guy, for sure. So glad that he did not mess that up. I was almost afraid to ask that question because I was like, I hope he can spell it.
Yeah, you put KJ on the spot. Me and Kelvin were over here like, don't ask us.
Yeah. Hey, I was going to say this. Either he's a very smart guy or he was prepared. Somebody told him that DK was coming with this. One of them two. It's one of them two. I'm not sure which one,
right?
But it's one of them two.
One of those two for sure. So I want to go back, J-Dub, I want to go back because we didn't get a chance to hear Kevin Young, because obviously we've talked a little bit about there's going to be some players missing tonight. Peat and Dwayne Aristode will not play for U of A. They are on the availability report as out. The availability report is sponsored by nobody. 520-887-1000 if you want to be the sponsor for the availability report and get in on this awesome Arizona Wildcats coverage that we have. 3 hours of pregame, 2 hours of postgame every night. Richie Saunders also out of this game. He is out for the season with a torn ACL for the BYU Cougars. Let's hear from Kevin Young, the head coach of the BYU Cougars, on Richie Saunders and what he means to this program.
Yeah, first let me address Richie if you guys don't mind. He in a lot of ways has been the flag bearer of just the Kevin Young era, so to speak. Just from day one, when he committed to coming back here, and then everything that he did last year and this year. In a lot of ways, just a poster child of everything that we were trying to do here. And so for that, I'll forever be grateful for Richie. I think he's everything that's great about a college basketball player. The amount of people, including opposing coaches within our league, that reached out to me, about Richie in the last couple of days, I think says a lot about him. Thing I love about him is just how much of a self-made guy he is. He's gotten himself to the point he's at because of sheer work and motor and effort and want to, and paid his dues and got a lot better. It's rare in this day and age, for a guy to do what he did here at BYU. And then lastly, just his commitment to BYU, his commitment to the community, to the university, the mission of the university. He's a BYU legend and will forever and always will be. And I just want to thank him and his family and everybody that's associated with him for the type of young man he is.
So Richie Saunders, if you'll remember, he was key at the end of that game last year. Wildcats won in Provo a year ago, but then BYU came down here and won in Tucson. Richie Saunders had a pair of free throws in the final seconds of that game. A lot of people still wondering if that was a foul on Trey Townsend, but BYU got the 96-95 victory, and he finished with 23 points in that game. So that's a huge loss for them, not having Saunders in there for sure, and it's something that they're going to have to learn to deal with moving forward. Kelvin, what do you anticipate? Obviously, we talked about the losses on our side. When you lose a guy like that, who's not only maybe one of your top three players on the floor, but he's also probably your number one guy in the locker room. How does a team get past that?
That's a tough one right there because, he's basically a coach on the floor. So that's a tough one. But, you're happy that, you're happy, but you're fortunate to be at this point of the season. And Wright has been around. So now he's matured into one of the leaders. AJ has been around. He's one of the leaders. Keita, he's been there. Akiba, he's been there for a while now. So you have some guys with some experience who's logged big minutes. And he still is going to be there. I'm guarantee you, especially in spirit, these guys have watched him work. So they got some understanding of how to get things done. So, yeah, it's tough losing them, especially for the locker room and that three-point shooting ability. But, all the teams are going through this type of stuff at this point in the season.
Here's the stat of the day, guys. BYU enters this game 350th in the nation in bench points per game.
Yeah, that's what happens when you have AJ, Robert Wright, and Richie Saunders. I mean, those guys take 73% of all the field goal attempts for BYU. To me, I think Richie Saunders, what they're going to miss the most is shot creation because Richie Saunders is a guy who can go and get his late shot clock. And AJ obviously can draw a lot of fouls. He's clearly one of the best ISO one-on-one guys. Robert Wright obviously can get to the rim. But having Richie Saunders at 6'6", Kelvin, a guy who can shoot over the top of some defenders with the cojones to be able to take some of those shots that he took, it's really going to be a big adjustment. A bigger adjustment, I think, for BYU than for Arizona being without a guy like Peat for a short period of time because their offense relies so much upon his ability to drive closeouts, to find open man. He averages 2.5 assists a game. The thing, DK, is Richie Saunders and Toppin were both first-team Big 12 players last year. So you're talking about two first-team Big 12 players both being lost for the season in the last 10 days. So it's going to be a huge adjustment, obviously, for BYU, obviously for Texas Tech as well. But to me, Kelvin, it just is more shots and more free throw attempts for AJ DeBonsa because nobody's going to he's not going to shy away from a couple of extra field goal attempts when Richie's not there. A lot of people are looking towards the bench. Like you said, Kelvin, that bench has not offered too much this season so far outside of open spot-up shooters because you've got three creators. Three creators lends itself to open shots for the other guys. Without that third creator out there, you're going to see so much more defensive attention for AJ and Robert Wright III. So I imagine, Kelvin, we'll probably see a little bit more ISO-type stuff from AJ than we've even seen in the last few games.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. And I also think Kennard Davis is going to be huge. I think he was sitting, waiting his turn. I thought it was going to come next year, but it's going to come this year right now because of the injury. And he's a guy that can make shots and be aggressive. And so I think he's going to have to really pick it up. But as you said, it's going to be a lot more ISO ball going on at BYU with AJ and Robert Wright for sure.
Some numbers on Richie Saunders. His last game as a Cougar on Saturday, the 120th game he's played in his career. That is 19th most in program history. He is 17th on the all-time scoring list at BYU with 1,544 points. He ranks fifth in 5 three-pointer games. So that's hitting 5 or more three-pointers in a game. Ranks fifth in that category at BYU. 8th in three-point field goals made. 8th in three-point field goals attempted. 9th in three-pointers per game. 12th in steals. 17th in 30-point games. He had 3 in his career at BYU. And so without him, I said the Wildcats will use their for the second time this year, they'll use a different starting lineup. This will be just the 6th different starting lineup for BYU tonight. So 2 coaches who have gone pretty much with their guys all season
And remember
long.
in that first game, like here, the first game in Provo, guys, Richie Saunders did not get off to a good start in that game, but he was a huge reason why BYU stayed in that game late because, again, Kelvin, the senior, not afraid to take those big shots down the stretch, the well-defended big shots down the stretch. So definitely a huge loss. But, again, there's always guys that you don't know about, Kelvin, on that bench. It doesn't matter if they're the least productive bench in the country. When there's extra field goals to be made, it's always, Kelvin, some guy who's made three-pointers his entire season who knocks down 4 in a game against Arizona. So you just got to play solid defense against anybody who's coming in to play that 3 position for the Cougars.
It is Meridian Wealth Management Arizona Game Day. We'll get a timeout here. We'll come back. We will have more on the BYU Cougars. It's your scouting report, and we'll be joined by Spencer Linton from BYU TV. Kelvin Efon is here. JW Madden. My name is David Kelly. You're listening to Wildcats Radio 1290.
Did you know collecting sports cards is one of the fastest growing hobbies around? Whether you're looking to start or expand your collection, Showtime Cards is your ultimate destination. As one of the leading card shops in the country, they've been serving our community for over 25 years with the best in sports cards and trading card games. From rare finds to the latest releases, Showtime Cards has it all. Check them out at ShowtimeCards.com or visit them today at 5801 East Speedway. And discover why collectors everywhere trust Showtime Cards for their passion.
It's your time to shine. This is Desert Diamond Casino, the spot with Arizona's only hometown sportsbook, the hottest slots and tables, and off-the-charts energy you won't find anywhere else. Here, there's always a fun-filled, action-packed, downright unforgettable night right around the corner. So let your hair down, turn the sparkle all the way up. It's time to live the diamond life. Desert Diamond Casino.
An enterprise of the Thama Ogden Nation. Sean Furrier for Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care. Now that winter is really here, cooler overnight temperatures mean that your tire pressure warning light could be on. In most cases, you solve the problem by simply adding the correct amount of air to your tires. As always, you can stop by any of our 14 area Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care locations for a free tire inspection and air pressure check. And if you need help with that low pressure warning light, we fix those too. Check out jackfurriers.com. Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care since 1960, here to get you there.
At Goldberg and Osborne, we know Arizona. It's where we live. It's where we work. It's where we've fought and won cases for the injured since 1989. Throughout our history, we've approached every case with a single focus: you. And we've got thousands of 5-star reviews to prove it. Put us to work for you by calling 1-800-THE-EAGLE today.
Everyone loves a backyard barbecue, but who has the time? I'm Josh Bishop, owner of Fork and Fire in Oro Valley and Catalina. My brother, best friend, and I have been cooking for one another and our neighbors for years, and we still get to live our passion every day at Fork and Fire. In Oro Valley, you'll discover bold, smoky brisket, ribs, pulled pork, and many creative dishes, paired with local craft beers on tap and specialty cocktails. Fork and Fire, your neighborhood backyard barbecue, where great food meets good times and strong community. Join us today at Fork and Fire, Oro Valley, and in Catalina.
Oh, no, not the sink. Not now.
Plumbing issues can put your life on pause. But with anytime emergency scheduling, the neighborly done right promise, and more, Mr. Reuter Plumbing will have your life flowing again in no time.
All fixed.
Much better.
Mr. Rooter is proud to cheer on the Cats. Mention this ad for 10% off any plumbing service. A win for the whole family. Bear down, Arizona.
Mr. Rooter Plumbing, a neighborly company.
So, what is it that scares you the most?
The blue trucks from Essential Pest Control, Doctor. They leave bugs belly up.
I use one of those national companies.
Thanks, Doc. Those guys don't bother me.
Spring is bug season. Go blue with Essential Pest Control. We'll eliminate those bugs, bees, and termites. Buy local and stop paying too much with those national providers. Essential Pest Control is a bug's worst nightmare.
I can't sleep at night.
Essential Pest Control. Call 866-3029. That's 866-3029. Or visit essentialpest.com.
Hi, this is Natalie Fernandez with Meridian Wealth Management. As a boutique fiduciary investment firm, our clients have trusted us to guide them down their financial paths for decades. Whether you are an individual or family, business, foundation, or nonprofit, we are committed to your long-term goals and financial futures. We are proud supporters of the Tucson community and all that makes our city so special. Visit online at meridianwealthllc.com to learn more about Meridian today.
Advisory services provided by Meridian Wealth Management, a registered investment advisor.
Our Window Depot coverage of U of A basketball continues. This is the Meridian Wealth Management Arizona Game Day pregame show on Wildcats Radio 1290. Now, back to your hosts, David Kelly, the captain Kelvin Yvonne, and J.W. Madden.
Bradley on the wing. Bradley driving into the paint. Left corner, buries rainbow three. That's over the rim, no good. Walker, the offensive rebound. Shovel at Kribas. His shot up, bounce and goes.
How about an offensive rebound for Tobe Awaka?
Time now for a look at today's Wildcat opponent. The Scouting Report is brought to you by Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care. Jack Furrier, since 1960. Here to get you there.
Let's take a closer look at tonight's opponent, the BYU Cougars, although we just saw them a few weeks ago in Provo. An 86-83 win by the Arizona Wildcats kind of started the Cougars on a bit of a tailspin, the first of 4 consecutive losses for BYU, but they've bounced back with 2 straight wins. Pleased to be joined by Spencer Linton from BYU TV, covers all things BYU Cougars. And first of all, Spencer, appreciate you taking some time to join us. So what did the Cougars learn about themselves from that 4-game losing streak?
Oh, isn't that the question of questions? If you ask head coach Kevin Young, it's that they are a team that will absolutely not give up and will play until the final second, which they showed against a great team like Arizona. Frankly, some help from Tony Padilla and the officiating role in that game, but that's a conversation for another day. But just that the team will fight like that. This BYU team is so unique. Unfortunately, there's a trend of consistently getting down, often by double figures in the first half, and then having to just claw your way back and in some cases win the game, like they did a few times early in the non-conference. But when you get in the Big 12, it's just not a shocker. You can't go down double figures and then beat some of these high-end elite caliber teams like Arizona. But I think if they learned one thing, it's just that they are never out of a game, and they believe that the adversities that they're going through now will come around at the important time of March and help them down the stretch, because they have dealt with so many difficult situations, and they have true belief that they are never out of a game.
Well, since the appropriate term is availability report, I'm calling this availability week, because everybody's got folks that are not available. Peat not expected to play for Arizona. Dwayne, Aristode, 2 of their fabulous freshmen, both out. We got the news, obviously, today. JT Toppin, the reigning Big 12 Player of the Year, is going to be out for the rest of the season after tearing his ACL. Richie Saunders, for you guys, same thing against Colorado, tears an ACL. Explain to people what this loss means to BYU.
So it's hard to quantify just how important Richie Saunders is for BYU. And so maybe the best way I can do it is, imagine you are a race car driver and you've got an F1 vehicle, and you obviously are using premium fuel, premium oil, top of the line everything. Well, let's say you take away that premium fuel and that premium oil, your machine is still a great machine, but it's not going to operate nearly as efficient and not be as fast and as good as it possibly could be. Like, Richie is kind of the guy that just brings everything together. He is a guy that does so many things that do not show up on a stat sheet. He was the clear leader of this team. He's the guy that when you walk on the floor, everybody in the team says, oh, Richie's in the game. We're going to be okay. We feel better. Just his presence, the leadership through example, and his vocal leadership that was coming into another level as well. Plus the production. I mean, we're talking about BYU's most prolific three-point shooter this season. His numbers have dipped a little bit, but he shot by far the most threes of any player on BYU's team, and at a 38% clip. And he just has the ability to go off at any point and just provide that emotional lift. So he's the guy that also his superpower is the hustle plays. He's constantly winning 50-50 basketballs and diving on the floor and making critical free throws and the extra pass or tipping a ball out when there's a potential offensive rebound at play. And he just does so many little things that often stay away from the stat sheet. So he is that premium fuel, and you take it away, and it feels like we've gone from premium to now mid-grade a little bit. And it's not like BYU is empty-handed. I mean, you got A.J. DeBonsa and Rob Wright III for crying out loud, but it just felt like Richie was that true glue guy star and a legitimate top 10 player in the league, and a guy who was, after what he did against Kansas, was pacing to be probably an early second-round draft pick in the NBA draft, so a gutting loss for BYU. And I saw Ken Pomeroy gave BYU a 14% chance to win the game in the McKale Center tonight. That doesn't include without Richie Saunders. That metric doesn't take into account injuries. For me, it goes down to maybe like a 5% chance. He's that important in my mind. I mean, Richie is just so critical. It's going to take something special to beat Arizona when you're at full strength with Richie Saunders. Now it feels like BYU is going to have to get some real help, and they're going to need Arizona to not shoot the ball well like they did against Texas Tech. And you bring up Peat, who is an outstanding freshman as well. So there's a little bit of trade-off, but, man, Richie's just so vital for this BYU team. They're going to have to reinvent the wheel without him.
Well, and thank goodness y'all retired Jimmy Fredette's jersey, so he won't be showing up tonight at McKale Center.
He's not dropping 49, that's for sure.
Spencer Litton is our guest. It's your scouting report brought to you by Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care. Jack Furrier since 1960. Here to get you there, Spencer Litton with BYU TV. Okay, so Spencer, who is the guy or the guys that now need to be next man up?
Well, it starts probably with Kennard Davis, and BYU refers to him as Moo Davis. And he's the guy that, because he's the fourth scorer and he was playing behind the big three, he had, in a way, his legs kind of taken out from underneath him. He was becoming more of a spot-up shooter, and Kevin Young said, like, maybe I did a disservice to Moo by making him primarily a spot-up shooter. But now that Richie's gone, like, we need him to do more. He's a guy that averaged 16 points a game at Southern Illinois, and so I wouldn't be surprised to see Kevin Young try and implement Moo Davis into the scoring some more for BYU tonight, not just shooting the three. He had 5 threes against Arizona and Provo. It was a breakout of a slump-type game, so he'll certainly shoot the three, but I wouldn't be surprised to see him run towards the rim a little bit, be a little bit more of a slasher, and try and score in more ways like he did when he was at Southern Illinois. And so the opportunity knocks there for a player like him. Then you have the always capable three-point shooters that have underperformed in large part this year for BYU in Alexi Kostic and Tyler Maruss. They were brought in specifically to be those dead-eye shooters, and there will be a few more shots available to them as well. So it starts with Kennard Davis, and then sprinkle in some needed three-point shooting from the guys that I just brought up that could help alleviate the 18 points a game that Richie is leaving in that void to fill. But again, who's going to make the hustle plays? That to me takes a team effort from Keba Keita, BYU's big, and a guy named Hadim Boop, who is going to play additional minutes tonight because Richie's not in the lineup. So I probably look to those guys for the hustle plays, and the other guys that I mentioned earlier to try and make up some of the scoring that Richie leaves behind.
You know, we joked last week, Spencer, about the fact that, you know, the Jazz got fined for sitting guys, and in particular our guy Lauri Markkanen up there, and that maybe they're trying to not win as much because they've got a star already in their backyard in A.J. Debonsa, who might look really good in a Jazz uniform next year. Would you corroborate that maybe that might be happening there? Because I'm from Cleveland. So I know what tanking to get a really great local player is all about.
Hey, absolutely, you understand that. And because you mentioned that, how about your guy Sam Merrill, Utah State, great shooting lights out for the Cavs now.
I love me some Sammy Merrill.
Let's go, Sam. AJ would obviously be a welcome addition to the Utah Jazz. That conversation is fascinating in the NBA right now, and frankly, it makes our jobs that much more entertaining because it gives us more fodder. I don't know that there's anything specific as to aiming for AJ, but I do know that, yeah, if he's there and available and the Jazz are picking second or wherever, and AJ is on the table, that, yeah, it'd be a no-brainer not to take him there. He certainly loves Utah and has acclimated well to the community here, playing his prep ball in southern Utah and St. George and that area, and then now being in Provo. And he's had a bunch of Jazz games as well. Obviously, the ties to the owner, Ryan Smith, because of his BYU connection. So it makes a lot of sense, but frankly, the Jazz, I mean, BYU fans wanted the Jazz to draft Yegor Dielman last year, and that was never really in the mix either. It would take a lot to have AJ end up in a Jazz uniform, but why not dream big, you know?
There you go. Spencer, hey, we appreciate you taking a few minutes to join us. You guys have a big you guys do like an hour pregame, or how long do you guys go with your TV, bro? I know you guys do pregame and postgame around BYU Athletics.
Yeah, so for all the home games, we do have a full-scale hour-long pre- and post-game show on TV. For road games, it's primarily just a radio production, but it is a 2-hour pregame show on the radio and then a long postgame after. You know the drill. I mean, all of the shows, and it's fun to cover great teams. And frankly, it's been an incredibly fun ride to watch Arizona basketball this year. I mean, I know they've lost 2 straight, but come on. I mean, 3-point losses, it's the Big 12. Arizona looks every bit the part of a national championship contender, and hope that they're back to full health soon because, you know, I know that there's competition in the conference, but when you get to March Madness, it's go Big 12, baby.
Yeah, and it's like I said, it stinks that a lot of the best, at least some of the best players are not going to be there come Kansas City here in a few weeks with your loss of Saunders and Texas Tech's loss of Toppin. Spencer, appreciate you. We'll talk again in the future.
You got to be well.
That's Spencer Litton from BYU TV. That's your scouting report for tonight.
And that's the lowdown on the team U of A is about to face on the hardwood. The scouting report has been brought to you by Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care. Jack Furrier since 1960. Here to get you there. This is Meridian Wealth Management Arizona Game Day. Hour 2 of the pregame show is brought to you by Bear Down Roofing, Dorado Rock, Essential Pest Control, Goodfellas AC, Hughes Federal Credit Union, Johnson Manley Company, JT Auto, Lexus of Tucson, Mr. Rooter, Recon Auto Detail, Rightway Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing, Rocking K, a master planned community designed by nature, Factory Direct Mattress, and by Meridian Wealth Management. Wealth well managed, life well lived.
Morning begins in the Rincon Foothills. Rocking K, a master planned community and place to call home, offering distinct neighborhoods designed to fit your lifestyle. Explore the outdoors, walk the trails, visit Saguaro National Park. Enjoy community parks and make new friends at Rocking K resident events. Walk to Vail School District's newest campus in Rocking K, Saguaro Creek. 17 model homes, 6 quality builders, move-in ready homes available from the 300s. Rocking K, designed by nature. a community by design.
Looking for quality windows without the wait? Come to the Window Depot. We carry a huge selection of Milgard windows, in stock now and ready for pickup. Need something custom? No problem. From new construction to full home replacement, we'll help you order the perfect Milgard windows built to fit your space, style, and budget. Whether you're a homeowner or contractor, the Window Depot makes it easy to get the windows you need fast. Visit thewindowdepot.com to find a location near you and see why we're your Milgard window experts.
Back your hometown favorite. Get your very own exclusive University of Arizona debit card from Hughes Federal Credit Union. Pair your new card with a free checking account that earns dividends with no monthly fees, no minimum balance, and convenient 24/7 online and mobile banking. Visit one of our 7 convenient branch locations to get your card instantly or open an account online at hughesfcu.org/wildcats. Show your Wildcat spirit all year long with Hughes Federal Credit Union. Certain restrictions apply. Insured by NCUA.
It's your time to shine. This is Desert Diamond Casino, the spot with Arizona's only hometown sportsbook, the hottest slots and tables, and off-the-charts energy you won't find anywhere else. Here, there's always a fun-filled, action-packed, downright unforgettable night right around the corner. So let your hair down, turn the sparkle all the way up. It's time to live the diamond life. Desert Diamond Casino.
An enterprise of the ALKEME Nation.
Now that's what I call savings. Looking for strength and value? Get $2,000 off a new 2025 Chevy Trailblazer, $3,000 off a 2025 Chevy Traverse, and up to $4,500 off a 2025 Chevy Colorado. That's real muscle, real savings. Right now at O'Reilly Chevrolet. Call us at 747-8000, see us on Broadway next to Park Place Mall, or on the web at O'Reilly.com. O'Reilly Chevrolet. Together, let's drive.
O'Reilly Chevrolet.
Our daughter was addicted to pain meds, and for over 2 decades, she was lost to us. We tried to help, but the more we tried, the worse it got. She went to 18 different rehabs. We finally realized that to really love her, we needed to let her go, even when that meant her going to jail. When she got out, she went to Gospel Rescue Mission, and as the days turned into months, we knew we had our daughter back.
If you need help, or if you know someone who needs help, go to grmtucson.com.
At Goldberg and Osborne, we know Arizona. It's where we live. It's where we work. It's where we've fought and won cases for the injured since 1989. Throughout our history, we've approached every case with a single focus: you. And we've got thousands of 5-star reviews to prove it. Put us to work for you by calling 1-800-THE-EAGLE today.
Cool Willie's Air and Plumbing. Always trust the big guy. Mention your Wildcats and receive $50 off any repair at coolwillies.com. Cool Willie's is proud to be a partner of the University of Arizona Wildcats basketball radio broadcast. 2 powerful teams working hard for you to get the job done right every day. Cool Willie's Air and Plumbing. Big enough to help, small enough to care. Remember to mention your Wildcats and receive $50 off any repair. coolwillies.com.
Wildcat Nation, are you ready?
Bradley down into the lane, lay it up and good. Previous turnaround jump hook is good. Del Orso springs a 3 out there and drains it. Milwaukee takes away the rebound and slams it home. It's a man's game.
Bear down, Cats. Our Window Depot coverage of University of Arizona basketball continues with Meridian Wealth Management Arizona Gameday. The pregame show is brought to you by Meridian Wealth Management. Wealth well managed, life well lived. We are counting down to tip off for Arizona Wildcats basketball. This is Wildcats Radio, 1290.
Picked up by Awaka. Devonsa driving left through traffic to the bucket and slam it home.
Yeah, you can see Devonsa's really going to pick up his aggression here.
Let's take a look at the Right Way Rundown and see what's coming up on our pregame show. Brought to you by Right Way Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing. Doing things the right way.
AJ Devonsa is averaging 13 points per game in the second half. Second half of games, he's averaging 13 points this season while shooting 57% from the floor and 45% from 3. Final hour of our show as we lead you up to network coverage at 6:30 for a 7 o'clock tip-off tonight at the McKale Center ALKEME Arena. So I've got to figure out how to, I've been trying to figure out how to write that into my stories now. So I have to say I've been writing it in as in McKale Center at ALKEME Arena versus at McKale Center at ALKEME Arena, because I don't want to use the word at twice. I'm sure there's some English teacher out there that can help me with that. So that's how I've been writing it anyway. In McKale Center at ALKEME Arena. All right, we will have our pest of the game coming up here shortly. Who will be that pest that gets underneath the Wildcats' skin tonight for the BYU Cougars? It's brought to you by Essential Pest Control. Can we beat the book? Arizona, a 12.5-point favorite. You're over under 162.5. The Westwood One people weighed in on the game. We'll let you know what they said. We've been flipping everything they say, so we'll see if we're flipping them tonight. Keys to the game, presented by Royal Automotive. And again, for the first time all season, we will have a different starting lineup for tonight. Any intel yet, JW Madden, on the starting lineup?
No, none yet,
game?
but you will be the first to know.
Okay. I will. Well, I hope so. I hope I am the first to know on that. AJ DeBonsa went to the line 16 times in the game in Provo. That was, he was like, I was like, can we not send this guy to the line anymore in this particular ball game? That was exactly what he did. He was coming off his all-time best performance in the game prior to that, in which he scored 43 points for the BYU Cougars. He is one of the top players in the country. Many believe he could be the number one pick. It's going to come down to him and the youngster from Kansas, Mr. Darren Peterson. But if I had a vote, I'm voting for AJ DeBonsa is the guy that I would take number one if I was a GM. 24 points in that game against the Wildcats. AJ talked about wanting to play in exactly these type of games in these type of environments.
Yeah, that was also just one of the reasons why I picked BYU. Just to be able to play in these different type of environments that I know that get loud. I know at Tech gets loud, at Arizona, at Kansas, and I know that here gets loud. So I didn't want to duck any smoke, and I just wanted to play the best basketball, I think, in the best league, I think.
Well, we know AJ DeBonsa could be that pest of the game for sure. Kelvin talked about, guys needing maybe to take more shots for Arizona. He routinely takes 20 shots for BYU. Routinely takes 20 shots. He has not gone to the line 16 times, though, since that game against Arizona. He is
fourth nationally
in terms of shots taken.
Free throw attempts a game.
Free throws.
Yeah, 8.5 free throw attempts a game. AJ DeBonsa, the freshman, is fourth nationally, DK, in free throw attempts a game.
So what did we take away from that game for the reason why he went to the line 16 times?
Kelvin, he's really crafty. He's really long. He's clearly like a plus athlete. But to me, the reason that he's so good at drawing fouls is because he understands how to get defenders out of position, Kelvin, and take advantage of them being out of position. Sometimes it just takes a hand across the arm in the shooting motion. It depends on where you bring that sweep through, right, Kelvin? So I just think AJ is way, way beyond his years at drawing attention to fouls that the refs can see.
Well, number one, he's a great ball handler. So he gets matchups versus teams fours, bigger guys, and he takes advantage of that. And then number two, he plays off 2 feet, right? So when he gets to the lane, he can use pump fakes and pivots and fall away like Dirk shots and different things, the way he creates shots. And his length gives him ability to get shots over people. So, yeah, he just and he uses the three-point line as well to pump fake. You have to respect his three. Even though he don't take a lot of threes, you still have to respect it. And he gets you off your feet, and he get by you and get your bigs in foul trouble.
He could be one of those guys that is a pest of the game. Kevin Young, go ahead.
He should be a senior right now.
In high school.
In high school. He
yeah.
reclassified.
Yeah.
In case people didn't know that. So AJ DeBonsa, who everybody's heard about for years now, is leading the nation in scoring as a freshman, but he reclassified to the 2025 class. Originally, he was a 2026, so he technically should be a senior in high school right now.
They're going to need a new leader because Richie Saunders, as we mentioned, is out for the season. Kevin Young likes what he's hearing from A.J. DeBonsa, who said that after that game in Colorado that he believes everybody on this team is going to step up and replace Richie.
Belief is a beautiful thing. You know, like if I can quote Diljit Taylor, the great coach here at BYU, that's pretty much her big mantra, is just how much she believes in her athletes. And so, I've learned a lot from her on that. But yeah, a guy like AJ, who's as talented as he is, to have belief in our guys. I think it speaks to what he sees every day in practice, as he mentioned. But listen, I wish Richie was still healthy. There's no getting around that. However, I'm a silver linings guy. I think it takes the pressure off some of the guys coming off the bench, knowing that they're going to get a little bit extended opportunities. People know I think we have to do it a little bit more. Obviously I was going really heavy on not using the bench a ton, and now we don't have a choice. And so there's a lot. I've seen this in the NBA world, man, where people go out and other guys step up. I've seen it time and time again. And so AJ adding fuel to that fire in a good way, I think, just is the more the merrier.
All right, so who could be among those guys that steps up off the bench for this team? I'm going to butcher this name. Alexei Kostic. I think that's how it's pronounced. Alexei Kostic. He's 6'4". He's a freshman. He did transfer, however, it appears, from Austria. So I don't know if does that count when you transfer? I guess if you're on a club team in Austria and you transfer. He's listed as a transfer, though. But he is a freshman. This is a guy that AJ likes.
Yeah, he just knows how to find shots. And obviously I get double line, draw a lot of attention. So sometimes those passes are super hard to make, across court, but he just finds certain windows and the passes are super easy to get to him.
Alexei Kostic. Now, he's only played in 17 games, and he hasn't started any of those games, but maybe he's that guy that could be a pest tonight for the Arizona Wildcats. You guys
Alexei.
know Alexei. You know much about Alexei there, J-Dub?
I know he's a freshman transfer.
Yeah.
And he's got Russian origins, because that's
Austria.
a Russian name for sure.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know much about him, but again, like the coach said, like you said, like Kelvin said, just because you're reigning first-team all-conference player goes down for the season doesn't mean there aren't guys out behind him who can make shots. The question is, can you consistently make shots? That's what Richie Saunders is. So any of those guys can step up tonight and have a big game.
Alexei doesn't appear like he's played. He did not play the first time around, and he has not played since the game before the last game against Arizona. So I don't know if he's going to be back. Maybe he's been out, but that's a guy that AJ likes, potentially. One guy Kevin Young needs to see offense from now is going to be his point man, Robert Wright III.
We're going to need him to, be a play finisher a lot in conjunction with the playmaker. I think the way he's shooting the ball, both from three, and at the basket, has been extremely impressive. And it allows AJ to play on the ball a little bit more and gives us another kind of guy who can kind of space the floor and be, like I said, a play finisher. So, Rob and AJ and everybody, quite frankly, is going to have a lot of things on their plate. And I know those guys are, those two in particular, are built for this type of thing.
All right, so who's it going to be? Who is going to be that guy that gets underneath the Wildcats' skin tonight from BYU? Let's find out.
Who is the pest that the Wildcats need to be free from to win today's game? The Pest of the Game is brought to you by Essential Pest Control. Pest control with science. In Tucson at essentialpest.com.
All right. Richie Saunders had made 64 three-point shots for this team. That is almost 17 more than Robert Wright III. So he was the primary guy behind distance. I'll start this one out. I think I'm going to go with Kennard Davis Jr. because I think that's the guy that really is going to have to pick up that load. And as I've consistently said, you got to be able to make threes to beat this team in McKale Center at ALKEME Arena, much like we saw late from the Texas Tech Red Raiders on Saturday. So I'm going to go with Kennard Davis Jr. as my guy. Kelvin.
I'm going to take Robert Wright III. I believe that he's going to step up. He's had a few good games here coming up. I just believe that he's going to try to step up and take even more shots and make some things happen.
JW Madden.
I mean, you guys picked the two guys I probably would have picked, so I'm going to just go with AJ because, come on. I mean, there's no bigger pest in the nation potentially than AJ DeBonsa. He is the real deal. He's just as advertised. So, you know, I like to go with smaller guards and, you know, guys who get in the passing lane and get steals, guys who knock down threes. But to me tonight, if AJ DeBonsa gets going, all those other guys we've talked about who are going to try to fill in for Richie Saunders are going to see a big old rim if AJ gets downhill and gets to the free throw line a bunch. So I'll go with AJ DeBonsa for my pest tonight.
We talked about the free throws. He has over 100 more than anybody on his team. He's got 213. The next guy was Saunders with 109.
Yeah, Robert Wright gets busy in the lane, but Saunders is more of a jump shooter, as is Kennard Davis. So those guys aren't necessarily attacking. But, Kelvin, AJ DeBonsa, I've never seen a play where he wasn't in attack mode every single time down.
Yeah, no, he understands that usually, again, he's in a mismatch because he's playing the four. So he gets guys that are not used to guarding guards, big guards like him, and he understands that they can't stay in front of him, so he attacks the paint and get your bigs in foul trouble. And I keep saying it, but, you know, that's my one concern about whoever is going to start at that four position is, you know, how are they going to guard AJ?
All right, those are the guys that we think will get underneath the Wildcats' skin tonight at the McKale Center, in the McKale Center at ALKEME Arena.
That's our best of the game. Brought to you by Essential Pest Control. Pest control with science. In Tucson at essentialpest.com. Let's take a look at what's happening today around the rest of the country. The Wildcats Radio 1290 Game Day Scoreboard is brought to you by Goldberg and Osborne. Goldberg and Osborne, Arizona's leading injury law firm.
3 games in the Big 12 tonight, including this one, which tips at 7 here in Tucson. The other one other game will tip at 7. Number 8, Kansas on the road at Oklahoma State. The other game tonight is on FS1, and that is Utah at West Virginia. The Utes have just 1 win so far this season in conference play. Top 25, not a number of games on that realm, but a couple in progress right now. Number 20, Arkansas leading at Alabama, 55-45. The Crimson Tide are currently ranked 25th in the nation. That game just about to get to the half. Creighton is up 5 on the road at number 5, UConn.
Go Blue Jays.
39-34. About the Blue Jays right there, indeed. Number 14, Virginia at Georgia Tech tonight. Number 17, St. John's at Marquette. 19th ranked Vanderbilt will visit Missouri. Number 10, Illinois at 12-3 is at the Galen Center in Los Angeles to take on Southern California, who is 7-7 in the Big 12. 11th ranked Gonzaga will be on the road at San Francisco tonight. It's been an interesting week so far already in the Big 12 Conference. Last night, we mentioned Arizona State beat Texas Tech. And like Kelvin said, they were winning that game before JT Toppin went out. Toppin finished that game with 20 points, 8 rebounds, and 4 blocks. How about that game? I mean, the Sun Devils. I mean, nobody would have expected that after Texas Tech came in here and knocked off the number 1 team in the country. But that's what happens in this league. And how about Kansas State? They fire Jerome Tang. They win a basketball game at home by 16 over BYU. So congratulations to the Wildcats. Interim coach Matthew Driscoll gets his first coaching win as they knock out Baylor 90-74.
The weirdest stuff is like all the extracurriculars last couple of days.
Yeah.
Right? Like you see Hoiberg.
Right.
So
Hoiberg.
Nebraska was 20-0, and they've gone 2-4 in their last 6 games. And the Iowa Hawkeyes fans stormed the court. And one of the fans got up to Coach Hoiberg and put a camera in his face, and he knocked it away. Mick Cronin ejected his own player. Like all of the off-the-court stuff is almost more interesting than the on-the-court stuff these days.
Oh, man, that was funny. And then he got into it with a reporter after the game. And we may play that for you either a little bit later in this show or maybe on the post.
It's almost guaranteed, Kelvin, if Mick Cronin goes on a little bit of a losing streak or if he feels like his players aren't giving max effort, he kind of takes it out on the press.
Yeah.
In the press room. We've seen that quite a few times.
Iowa State beat Houston earlier this week, 70-67. So the number 2 team in the country went down just like the number 1 team in the country. But Michigan went out and won a huge road game at Purdue the other night. So the Wolverines are passing all the tests right now.
Yeah, they're damn good.
Yes, they are. All right, that's your scoreboard for the moment.
The Wildcats Radio 1290 Game Day Scoreboard is brought to you by Goldberg and Osborne. Goldberg and Osborne, Arizona's leading injury law firm.
Every day is a balancing act, with work, family, goals, all asking for more. It helps to have tools that meet you at every step and a team that will always be by your side. We're ICCU. We're a credit union that has been helping members achieve financial success since 1940. In fact, we put member success first, one by one, year after year, for 85 years and counting. Now, we're here for you, Tucson. Join us, ICCU.
Looking for top-notch lumber and framing? Johnson Manley Lumber has been your trusted expert since 1970, specializing in both residential and commercial projects. Our experienced teams, cutting-edge technology, and reliable supply chain ensure your framing is on time and on budget every time. We're proud to be employee-owned and community-rooted in Tucson. Learn more at johnsonmanley.net. Proud supporter of the University of Arizona radio broadcast. Go Wildcats.
Ready to score a new vehicle? Whether you are looking for a new car, truck, or electric vehicle, at Royal Kia, we know exactly what you want. A quality vehicle at a great price and to be treated fairly. We stand by our transparent online pricing, offer a 72-hour buyback guarantee, and you work with our no-pressure, non-commissioned sales staff. Royal Kia, the dealership that's different. OAC plus tax, title, license, dealer installed options, and $589 doc fee. Royal Kia, Speedway in Columbus, or royalkia.com.
Sean Furrier for Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care. Now that winter is really here, cooler overnight temperatures mean that your tire pressure warning light could be on. In most cases, you solve the problem by simply adding the correct amount of air to your tires. As always, you can stop by any of our 14-area Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care locations for a free tire inspection and air pressure check. And if you need help with that low pressure warning light, we fix those too. Check out jackfurriers.com. Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care since 1960, here to get you there.
Hi guys, I'm back. What's new?
Tucson Appliance Scratch and Dent Studio.
All the Scratch and Dent merchandise has its own new studio.
There were so many Scratch and Dent discounted items. Now they have a place of their own.
I love it. A whole Scratch and Dent studio right next to Tucson Appliance. They don't look like Scratch and Dent,
but it shows in the low prices.
Tucson Appliance Scratch and Dent Studio. Proud local supporters of the Southern Arizona Heartball. Only at Tucson Appliance, where you are a priority.
My heat and air were in a state of disrepair.
February weather in the Oak Pueblo is beautiful. It's the time of year to go outside and enjoy the great outdoors. Springtime will be coming soon, and so will the Arizona heat. Now is the time to plan for the long, hot summer that we all know is coming. Now, for a limited time, we are offering 5-year, no-interest financing on Rheem air conditioning and heating systems, OAC. Call now, 520-492-0748, or book your appointment online at PictureRocksCooling.com.
Picture Rocks Cooling, heating and plumbing.
Cool Willie's Air and Plumbing. Always trust the big guy. Mention your Wildcats and receive $50 off any repair at coolwillies.com. Cool Willie's is proud to be a partner of the University of Arizona Wildcats radio broadcast. Two powerful teams working hard for you to get the job done right every day. Cool Willie's Air and Plumbing. Big enough to help, small enough to care. Remember to mention your Wildcats and receive $50 off any repair. coolwillies.com.
Ready to update your kitchen? Create a spa-inspired bathroom or a backyard oasis? Put the equity in your home to work for you with a home equity line of credit from Hughes. Borrow between $10,000 and $250,000 and enjoy flexible terms and no prepayment penalties. With Hughes Federal Credit Union's one-rate guarantee, there's no switching rates based on your credit score. All our members get our same low rate. Learn more at hughesfcu.org/HELOC. Insured by NCUA. Equal housing lender. Certain restrictions apply.
Our Window Depot coverage of U of A basketball continues. This is the Meridian Wealth Management Arizona Game Day pregame show on Wildcats Radio 1290. Now, back to your hosts, David Kelly, the captain Kelvin Yvonne, and J.W. Madden.
We got something set up from here. Right down. Right spin move down the lane. Turns layup blocked by Burries. Grabs the ball down in the corner and he's fouled with 2.1 to go. Oh my goodness.
Game-saving block there by Braden Burries coming from the...
Braden Burries, Jaden Bradley combining to get the defensive stop the Arizona Wildcats needed in Provo earlier this season to beat the BYU Cougars by 3 points. Welcome back to Meridian Wealth Management Arizona Game Day. Your chance to get in on the program by call or by text is 520-848-1290, 520-848-1290. That is the number. Our guy K-Dub checks in on the YouTube channel. He says, tonight is exactly why Tommy Lloyd should have been giving much more playing time to players 9, 10, and 11 in obvious 20 to 30-point blowouts. 3 garbage minutes in those games is not enough. Now they are needed. Of course, those players being among those Evan Nelson, C.D. Gay that we've talked about. Now that the Big 12 refs have decided they won't call fouls, U of A is extremely easy to defend. If U of A wants to score 80 and win, they need to do it by making 15 threes. What do you guys think about that right there? And I haven't looked at the numbers, but I guess the fouls appeared to have gone down to you guys in the last maybe week or so, or at least in the last 2 games anyway. Kelvin?
As far as foul shot attempts?
Well, I guess a fouls period, just fouls called, I guess, is what K-Dub was saying. I mean, that there have not been as many fouls called.
The game at Kansas, what did Arizona shoot? 13 free throws, right? 14. And this last game out, the refs, Kelvin, are going to dictate early and often what kind of physicality they're going to allow. And I think, obviously, with an Arizona team putting a premium on getting to the rim and putting rim pressure on, and a lot of times that resulting in free throw attempts early and often and getting teams in the bonus and the penalty early in the first and the second halves, well, if that doesn't happen, you just have to find other ways to score points. So I don't necessarily think it's not a either or. It's not one team that's getting the benefit to my eyes, Kelvin. It just seems like these last 2 games, the refs swallowed their whistles.
Yeah, they was going to force us to finish and not let it, let it. I'm sure the coaches are complaining all through the conference that Arizona's getting all the calls. I guarantee you that's the first thing if I was a coach that I would say to the refs when I seen them. I say, hey, man, hopefully you guys don't, let these guys get away with all that flopping. That's what I would say. Not saying that they flop, but I would just put it in the referee's mind that, hey, if we allow these guys to go to the free throw line all day, we don't have a chance. So, hey, if you're going to be the champion, you got to take it. You got to take that championship. So, to me, it's not about the offense that's been the problem. We need 3 more stops. We had more than enough offense to win. And there was 3 3-pointers given up by our 3 wings. Korchinkov gave up 1. Berries gave up 1, and our guy Bradley gave up 1. You take away those 3, we win by 7. So I think it's more about defense, man. I think we need to lock in. That's our identity anyway.
Just in terms of the fouls, the Wildcats, the Texas Tech was whistled for 23 fouls in that game. And that was the most in the previous 3 games. There was only 12 fouls called against Kansas, 19 against Oklahoma State, and 17 against Arizona State. The previous 3 games. If you look at maybe the previous 10 games prior to that, most of the time the Wildcats' opponent was called for over 22-plus fouls. So definitely, at least in the previous 3 games to the Texas Tech game, the fouls were a little bit less than they had been in the 10 games prior to that. And J-Dub, 15 threes. Does this team, are we at that point where they need to make more threes to win?
It just depends. I mean, it depends on the way the defense is playing them. It depends on where the good shots are coming from. But I always think this offense is set up to get good shots. And if your shots are from 2 feet away with the Tobe Awaka dunk or a Mo Krivas 2-foot hook, you want that. But when they're packing the paint like these, Kansas obviously did, most teams that have the personnel on the front line to pack the paint, clamp in on the driving lanes, they're going to try to do that because that's Arizona's bread and butter. So what you have to do then is find good shots within that flow offense. And if those shots are from the 3-point line, take them. It just seems to me like the guys you expect to make those shots, right? We expect Del Orso to knock down maybe 2 a game. Another guy we talked about early and often, DK, in the first 5 games was Ivan Karchenkov.
Yeah.
As being potentially the 3-point shooters. What you were talking about, in game 3, 4, 5 of the season, he's like 3 out of his last 20.
Yeah.
So again, and some open shots. So you just have to set your feet, knock those shots down. Those shots within the flow of the offense. There's no number I'm personally looking for, Kelvin, as far as 3-point attempts, but good shots within the flow of the offense is all we're looking for every possession.
Let's hear from Tommy Lloyd on the first time around impressions playing one young man by the name of AJ DeBonsa.
You can do a great job on AJ, and he can still score 30. I mean, just, he's a really unique player in college. We haven't seen a lot of guys like him that just are so proficient at getting fouled. So it makes for a tough guard. I mean, probably nothing we need to share publicly. We knew we were going to give him a lot of different looks, and it wasn't anything crazy. There was no. We knew over the course of the game we were going to have to give him different looks, and so we just kind of started that way, and it felt like that could, maybe, we were going to see how it goes, and we would adjust from there.
AJ DeBonsa, you look at Koa Peat, you look at Braden Burries. There's a ton of really talented freshmen playing in this conference this season. Kevin Young says they all put fear in your heart.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know if I could point to one thing that this freshman class would have in common as it relates to their high school careers. I think this is just a historically good class. And it's all been, I think you have to give the coaches throughout our league and the country credit where, to empower freshmen, to put them in positions so that they can showcase what they can do. I think that's, easier said than done. And to this class's credit, I mean, they've all answered the call and then some, right? So, I don't know. I don't know if I would point to one thing from their high school careers. I just think it's a historic class that you stumble upon, every so often.
There you go. Let's see if it's a freshman tonight, maybe, that gets the job done in this game. All right. Can we beat the book? Before we get into that, let's pause 10 seconds for station identification. It's Meridian Wealth Management, Arizona Gameday.
KCUB Tucson, a Cumulus media station. Wildcats Radio 1290 studios are brought to you by ICCU at ICCU.com. Tucson, it's time to beat the book. Will the Cats beat the spread? It's time to look at the numbers and find out how you should bet the book so you can beat the book. Bet the Book is sponsored by Casino del Sol. Casino del Sol, home of award-winning dining, gaming, resorts, and golf.
All right, BYU last time at home was getting 1.5. This time on the road, they're getting 12.5 points against the Arizona Wildcats. Over under today is 162.5. Last time it was 166.5. DK plus 12, Kelvin minus 2, J-Dub plus 8 in the standings. It was not a great picking day on Saturday. We'll go with J-Dub first on this one today. J-Dub, Arizona minus 12.5 points.
I mean, I know Arizona's motivated coming off 2 losses. I also know that Koa and Dwayne Aristode being out of the lineup is a big deal. So I think 12 is a big number. I think AJ DeBonsa, if he has to take 50 field goals, is going to try to keep his team in this game tonight. So I think Arizona wins by 2-3 possessions, but closer to maybe 9. So I'll say BYU plus those points.
BYU plus 12.5. You look at, and I'll go back to what Saul said. Robert Wright had to play out of his mind for them to barely beat Colorado at home after Richie Saunders went out. Last year they came here and they shot 55% from 3 to win that game here last year. They scored 96 points. I just don't know if that's this team. I agree with you. I think that AJ is going to have to play out of his mind for them to win. I'm going to go with U of A, and I'm going to lay that 12.5. I just think this team, even without Koa Peat, should be able to beat this BYU club as it's constructed right now by double digits. Kelvin. Is Kelvin still there? Kelvin.
I'm sorry, I was on mute. I agree with you, but not. I agree with you double figures, but not 12.5. I'm with J-Dub. I think that they're going to play inspired. Again, we're missing a couple guys, but they're missing their one of their leaders as well offensively, and I think they're going to come in and be pretty aggressive offensively.
162.5 then is your over-under. Is this a high-scoring game tonight, Kelvin?
I'm gonna go slightly under. I think it's gonna be around 150, 152.
I like the under tonight as well. I just don't know that it's going to be again with what you're missing. I think that's going to play to the defenses in this ball game. So I'll go under 162.5 as well. I think the game will be in the 70s.
I totally agree, but I will go over just for fun because I have so much respect for Kevin Young's style and the amount of spacing that he creates with his offense. And I just think they're going to get a lot of open threes regardless of what Arizona does because that's what Kevin Young does. So if those other guys knock down some open threes, I could see a high-scoring game. So I'll go just slightly over that 162 number.
Paul in Phoenix shares his 2 cents. He says he is going, wherever he's betting, it's 11. We've got it at 12.5. He's going to take BYU in the 11 tonight, and he also likes the under on this game. So, what did the people at Westwood One Sports say? Let's find out on that end.
Brad Evans here to help you beat the Bulls with the Westwood One Sports. BYU is about to be served a harsh dose of reality. With an ailing defense and without their best outside shooter, Richie Saunders, they have an Everest mountain to climb against an Arizona team looking to get back on track. Zona's size and elite guards handle business inside McKale. Give me Tommy Loyal's Wildcats minus 12.5 at minus 110. Bet smarter, beat the books. Download the BetMGM app today.
All right, so BetMGM, or you Westwood One Sports says take the Wildcats in the 12.5. I probably should have flipped it and gone with you guys, but I'm gonna go with them and go with the pit in my stomach on this one today. That the Wildcats will cover that 12.5 number. We'll find out who beats the book.
That is how you bet the book so you can beat the book. Bet the Book is sponsored by Casino del Sol. Casino del Sol, home of award-winning dining, gaming, resorts, and golf.
All right, did you guys hear the latest news from the Big 12 today? The Big 12 has announced their headliner for the Big 12 men's basketball tournament. It's this guy.
And they stay there, and they say yeah, and they say there. Cause all I do is win. And if you going in, put your hands in the air.
Now, this is much better than glass courts, I think. DJ Khaled headlining the Big 12 basketball tournament after party presented by Venmo in the Power and Light District on Saturday night, March the 14th, following the conclusion of the men's championship game at the T-Mobile Center.
Diesel last year, right?
Was it Diesel?
I think so.
Yeah. So, I mean, hey, Brett Yormark is bringing. I'm sure Mixmaster Mike might be a little bit upset that it's not him, but Brett Yormark is bringing in the big-time DJs. I like that. Pump that up a little bit, DJ J-Dub. In fact, we'll go to break on that. You're listening to Meridian Wealth Management, Arizona Game Day. Arizona, number 4. BYU, number 23, coming up at McKale Center at 7 o'clock. This is Wildcats Radio 1290.
The dice are hot and the cash is calling at Casino del Sol. Every day, swipe your Club Soul card for a free entry into our Friday drawings at 6 p.m., 7 p.m., and 8 p.m. Plus, every 250 slot or table points gets you an extra entry. If your name is drawn, you'll step up and roll the dice. And if you hit 5 of a kind, you'll take home $5,000 in cool cash. Only at Casino del Sol, an enterprise of the Pasquayaki tribe.
So, what is it that scares you the most?
The blue trucks from Essential Pest Control, Doctor. They leave bugs belly up.
I use one of those national companies.
Thanks, Doc. Those guys don't bother me.
Spring is bug season. Go blue with Essential Pest Control. We'll eliminate those bugs, bees, and termites. Buy local and stop paying too much with those national providers. Essential Pest Control is a bug's worst nightmare.
I can't sleep at night.
Essential Pest Control. Call 866-3029. That's 866-3029. Or visit essentialpest.com.
Day in and day out, we're inundated with commercials asking to review your portfolio or telling you to get a second opinion. This is Natalie Fernandez with Meridian Wealth Management, and I want to share the advice I give people every day. Talk to 3 different advisors at 3 different firms. It's important to understand their differences and find someone you can trust. I want Meridian to be one of your 3, and then you will decide who is best for you. To learn more, call us at 719-1433 today.
Advisory services provided by Meridian Wealth Management, a registered investment advisor.
Now is the perfect time to start your next home renovation project. At the Window Depot, you get factory direct prices, no installers, no middleman, and serious savings. Windows, doors, cabinets, countertops, all in stock and ready to take home today. Perfect for DIYers and contractors who want to save thousands and get materials fast. Your project, your timeline, the best prices. Shop online at thewindowdepot.com or visit a location near you.
At Goldberg and Osborne, we know Arizona. It's where we live. It's where we work. It's where we've fought and won cases for the injured since 1989. Throughout our history, we've approached every case with a single focus: you. And we've got thousands of 5-star reviews to prove it. Put us to work for you by calling 1-800-THE-EAGLE today.
Ready to score a new vehicle? Whether you are looking for a new car, truck, or electric vehicle, at Royal Kia, we know exactly what you want. A quality vehicle at a great price and to be treated fairly. We stand by our transparent online pricing, offer a 72-hour buyback guarantee, and you work with our no-pressure, non-commissioned sales staff. Royal Kia, the dealership that's different. OAC plus tax, title, license, dealer installed options, and $589 doc fee. Royal Kia, Speedway in Columbus, or royalkia.com.
The cold Arizona nights are here. Is your furnace ready? For just $59, Right Way is offering a complete system tune-up, ensuring your furnace runs efficiently to keep your home comfortable all season long. Routine maintenance is key to avoiding costly breakdowns. And with over 11,000 5-star Google reviews, you can trust Right Way to get the job done right. Plus, we'll include a free carbon monoxide test for your peace of mind. Call Right Way today at 520-640-2665 or visit us at rightwayac.com for your $59 complete system tune-up.
Cool Willie's Air and Plumbing. Always trust the big guy. Mention your Wildcats and receive $50 off any repair at coolwillies.com. Cool Willie's is proud to be a partner of the University of Arizona Wildcats radio broadcast. 2 powerful teams working hard for you to get the job done right every day. Cool Willie's Air and Plumbing. Big enough to help, small enough to care. Remember to mention your Wildcats and receive $50 off any repair. CoolWillies.com.
You know it. Your neighbors know it. And let's face it, the mailman knows it too. Your yard just isn't what it used to be. But thankfully, Dorado Rock Materials can get you, well, your yard anyway, back to what it once was. And even better. Dorado Rock and Materials has just what your yard needs, from decorative rock to boulders and everything in between, brought right to you. And if you need help spreading it, we can help with that too. Dorado Rock and Materials. The right service, the right product, the right price.
Ready to update your kitchen, create a spa-inspired bathroom, or a backyard oasis? Put the equity in your home to work for you with a home equity line of credit from Hughes. Borrow between $10,000 and $250,000 and enjoy flexible terms and no prepayment penalties. With Hughes Federal Credit Union's one-rate guarantee, there's no switching rates based on your credit score. All our members get our same low rate. Learn more at hughesfcu.org/HELOC. Insured by NCUA. Equal housing lender. Certain restrictions apply.
Our Window Depot coverage of U of A basketball continues. This is the Meridian Wealth Management Arizona Gameday pregame show on Wildcats Radio 1290. Now, back to your hosts, David Kelly, the captain Kelvin Yvonne, and J.W. Madden.
Bradley across midcourt, bounce it off Karchinkov. Slides out top. Looking inside. Fired down to Owaka. Pump fake. Up good. And he's fouled. Toby will get to the free throw line.
Well, we'd like to see Toby Owaka get to the free throw line a lot tonight. Arizona and BYU coming up straight ahead. Tip off at 7 o'clock at McKale Center. Wildcats home games dwindling. They will have just 2 more after tonight as they'll go on the road for a 2-game road trip down to Texas, at Houston on Saturday, Baylor then the following Tuesday night. It'll be Tuesday next week, the 24th, at Baylor. Then they'll come home and play back-to-back home games against number 8 Kansas and number 2 Iowa State to wrap up the home part of the schedule before heading out to Colorado for the final regular season game on March the 7th, and then down to Kansas City for the Big 12 tournament. That'll be March 10th through the 14th. We mentioned, obviously, the Wildcats actually put out a tweet yesterday dealing on their Facebook account, their Twitter account at Arizona MBB men's basketball. Peat muscle strain in his lower leg, said he'll be reevaluated next week and will return to the court when cleared by medical staff. So that right there is an indication that Peat will not play Saturday in Houston either, if he is not going to be reevaluated until next week. So the Wildcats will not likely, if you're reading that way that it was written, will not have Peat on Saturday down against what is still currently the number 3 team in the country. Dwayne Aristode, illness, also not available Wednesday. As we mentioned, he is on the availability report. We'll check the final one that came out just a few minutes ago. But let's hear first from the head coach of the BYU Cougars, Kevin Young, on what he believes has changed with U of A since the last time his team saw them 3 weeks ago.
A few small wrinkles, but, one thing I respect about Tommy is, he's going to do what he does. And, you're going to have to stop it. And so I think there's a lot to be said about that. I think in terms of what could impact what they do or don't do differently, I mean, they're dealing with an injury with Peat. His status seems up in the air for different things there. So we'll see. I think for the large majority, they're going to do what they do. And, this is a game where, we got to definitely worry about the game plan because that's what you got to do in every game. But this is a game where we got to make it about BYU. We got to make it about us and not worry so much about what they're going to do.
The new availability report is out for today, the final one that comes out 90 minutes before tip-off. No new additions for either team on that availability report. So for the Wildcats, still Aristode and Peat, the only 2 players that are out. That's a good thing. I don't know if you guys heard that, remember that cut earlier. I don't know that we played it, but Tommy Lloyd talked after the game the other night about the differences between his philosophy and his friend Grant McCaslin's philosophy. And I thought he had a really good analogy to that. He said, Grant McCaslin's style is to play chess. My style is to play checkers because I like to double jump and reverse jump and all that kind of thing. I thought that, did you guys catch that when he said that? And I thought it was interesting just the way that he tried to draw the differences between the way that Texas Tech plays the game and maybe the more, I would categorize that as frenetic style that U of A uses. But how did you guys kind of hear how he said that?
Well, I basically heard it like he controls the game and he calls different sets and different plays to get his guys in different positions to score. Whereas Tubby just come down and we're going to outbig you. We're going to move the ball and let the ball movement beat you. So I think that's more so what he's saying when he's saying chess. Like, so he's looking for different matchups and, calling different sets or whatever. He's a little guy. He was a point guard in his time, and most of us point guards like to kind of be in control a little bit out there. So I think that's what he's saying.
Yeah, I think it's just chess is about making adjustments to the different styles. There's hundreds of different styles you can play, aggressive, defensively, or whatever. Checkers being more execution based, right? So Coach Lloyd and Kelvin, I think, especially if you got 4 freshmen in your 8-man rotation, keeping things less complicated is probably better on the defensive end of things. But you cannot deny that Coach McCaslin's, he's got, tricks and little tweaks, DK, for how you're going to defend the post, how you're going to defend drivers, that whole thing. And so he's really trying to keep the offense, of his opponents completely off balance by showing different tweaks and wrinkles along the way, whereas Coach Lloyd's base D and what they're trying to do doesn't change as much outside of maybe a little bit of drop, maybe fighting over screens, that kind of thing.
Let me add to that. Look at the background. He was a JUCO coach.
Right.
So he always
got to get crafty, right?
Yeah, always had to get crafty and kind of figure it out. And imagine Tommy's been at Gonzaga. They were the bigger, stronger team in his conference basically every night. So they did what they did, right? Whereas you look at Grant, just coming from the background of junior colleges and Arkansas State and North Texas, they had to figure out ways to get it done.
Yeah, I mean, if you're recruiting to a strength, that's such a great point because, DK, I mean, if you're recruiting to the strength of Mark Few's record after 1999 and beyond, and you're talking about recruiting guys like Sabonis and so forth, all those names we've heard of who are all top NBA guys these days, when you're recruiting to that strength, you're trying to play a specific style. When you're picking up, smaller colleges, JUCOs, and that whole thing, it's really kind of mix match whatever you can do to get a win, Kelvin. Whatever kind of you got to do, triangle and 2, whatever it takes to get those opponents off balance a little bit. You might not have the personnel, so you got to get a little bit more creative. And now I love a coach, Kelvin, who's in a creative mindset and also has some NBA level talent on his roster. That's Texas Tech right now.
Let's hear a little bit more from BYU head coach Kevin Young on having to come here and play Arizona after they have lost 2 games in a row.
Yeah, I mean, look, that's going to be that would be a great atmosphere if they were still undefeated. The fact they've lost 2, it doesn't matter. The bottom line is it's not like, we're going to play extra hard because we've lost. Once you play the game, you got to execute the game plan. So every team needs wins this time of year. Especially in our league, the standings are tight. Everyone's playing for something. So I've never bought into I say it to my guys all the time. I wake up motivated, and so I don't need extra motivation. I'm sure they don't either. We're hungry. They're hungry. It's going to be a good ball game.
There you go. It's going to be a fun ball game for sure. It always is when these 2 teams get together. BYU and U of A, like I've said, I think this is going to be a really good rivalry with these 2 teams as we move forward into this Big 12. Did y'all hear who was at McKale Center during shoot around today?
Who's that?
Boban Marjanovic. Is that
Boban? Yeah.
Yes,
love Boban.
Boban Marjanovic is at McKale Center. 7'4".
Yeah, that's Luka's best buddy.
Yeah, he was making. Somebody sent me a video of him making a half-court shot at McKale Center. So Boban can shoot it from distance. Apparently, too. He's not just one of those 7'4" guys playing down low, for sure. All right, let's find out what the Wildcats need to do to win this game today.
Wildcats fans, what are the big keys for today's game? Our keys to the game are brought to you by Royal Automotive Group. Royal Automotive Group, the dealership that is different.
Keys to the game. We'll start with Kelvin Efon. What does Arizona need to do to beat BYU tonight, Kelvin?
I got it right here. I said that the Wildcats have to get back to finishing strong around the rim. That's just the way that we play. I'm not one to right in the middle of the season say, let's turn into 3-point shooters. I'm not one to do that. I think they got to continue to do what they do and got to go at least 55 to 60% in that paint. You got to figure it out. Secondly, I think that we got to really lock in on the perimeter. Don't give up Don't give up a bunch of threes. Don't lose sight of the defenders that cost us in the last game. So I want to really lock into that. Just because they're missing Saunders doesn't mean that some of those guys can't get going for 3. And then last, we got to dominate the boards. We have to dominate the boards. We have to send all 5 guys. We can't leave it on just Krivas and Walker. All 5 guys have to get it done.
There you go, Kelvin Efon with his keys to the game. I agree with you on terms, obviously, of the 3-point line. That was the only thing that really kept them in the game last year here in Tucson was their ability to shoot the 3. I'm not necessarily concerned with A.J. DeMonta scoring 40, but what concerns me is if he scores 40 and then you get some of those other guys that can score 20 to 25. But if AJ wants to take over this game tonight and feels like he needs to put this team on the back, I think you go let him do that. Just don't let guys like Mihailo Boskovic or any of those guys really start, because those, I think the first time we played these guys, I talked about, being a little bit worried about a couple of those 6'10", 6'8" wings that they have who can really start knocking balls down from outside. You don't want those guys to be the guys that beat you in this game tonight. So let AJ do his thing. That's fine with me. You got to get, I think, the guards for Arizona have got to be more aggressive, getting the ball into the paint. I want to see more driving from Braden. I want to see more driving from Jaden, and to press the paint, to get more easy shots for the bigs. I think that's the thing that's really been maybe missing from this offense the last two games, is the ability to get those bigs the touches that they've been used to getting through the majority of this schedule. And I think if your guards are more aggressive, you can affect that in tonight's game. So that's when I want to see more effective guard play, more aggressive guard play from Arizona tonight. J-Dub.
Yeah, obviously I agree with you guys as per the usual. To me, it starts with getting Mo Krivas involved early and often. I'd like to see them feed the post. I know Kei Bakeda is a good defender, but beyond that, they don't really have a lot of size. So I'd like to see 10 to 15 points, maybe 5 to 8 rebounds in the first half for Mo Krivas. I think will be key. 10 or more field goals for Anthony Del Orso tonight. I think you got to find a guy like that who scored 20 points a game at Campbell, get him more in the rhythm of taking shots he's been passing up all year long. Very unselfish team. They're going to need Delly to take more shots with the injuries and the illnesses. And number 3, you got to play solid defense on AJ DeBonsa without reaching. The free throws are the biggest problem with AJ. So I'd like to see his free throw attempts. He's averaging about 8. 10 or 12 or under, I think, will get it done today. If you see AJ DeBonsa go 15, 18, 20 times, it's going to be a big problem tonight in McKale.
Those are our keys for today's game. The keys to the game. Brought to you by Royal Automotive Group. Royal Automotive Group, the dealership that is different. The foundation of a great basketball team begins with the starting lineup. Today's starting lineup is brought to you by Rocking K, a master plan community designed by nature.
All right, for the first time, the Arizona Wildcats will run out a new starting lineup. First time this season that it won't be the 5 that have played.
I tried, but my insiders are unable to tell me from McKale Center who will start, and nobody knows, apparently.
Well, we know Jaden Bradley is going to start, 6'3" senior out of Rochester, New York, averaging 13 points and 4 assists per ball game. We know Braden Burries will get the nod, a freshman 6'4" out of San Bernardino, California, averaging 16 points and pulling down 5 rebounds. Motier Escrivas, the man in the middle, 7'2" out of Chile, Lithuania. Mo averaging 11 points and 9 rebounds. We know Ivan Karchinkov will be there, 10 points and 4 rebounds. What we don't know is the other guy. I'm going to go with Toby Waka, the senior out of New York, 10 points and 10 rebounds. That's going to wrap it up for us. For J.W. Madden, for Kelvin Ifan, I'm David Kelly. Coming up next, Brian Jeffries and Ryan Hansen have the call. Arizona and BYU. Enjoy the game. Bear down, Arizona.
Now that's what I call savings. Truck buyers, this one's for you. Get up to $7,500 off a new 2026 Chevy Silverado and up to $4,500 off a 2025 Chevy Colorado. 2 tough trucks, one place to save. O'Reilly Chevrolet. Call us at 747-8000. See us on Broadway next to Park Place Mall or on the web at O'Reilly.com. O'Reilly Chevrolet. Together, let's drive.
O'Reilly Chevrolet. Advantage Air Mechanical, the team you can trust. Call 792-9400.
When it comes to the comfort and indoor air quality of your home and office, Advantage Air Mechanical has you covered. Breathing healthy air and having reliable air conditioning is important. If you or someone you know is in need of air conditioning services or a new system installation, we're here to help. Advantage Air Mechanical, 792-9400. AZROC 214570.
Life's busy. Errands, kids, work, the I-10 grind. Who's got time to sit at a detail shop?
That's why Recon Auto Detailing comes to me. Mobile detailing keeps my car spotless without losing a minute of my day.
From mobile washes to in-shop ceramic coatings, tint, and paint protection, we're Tucson's one-stop shop for keeping your ride looking new. Convenience, care, confidence, that's Recon Auto Detailing. Ceramic Pro West, Tucson.
Hi, this is Natalie Fernandez at Meridian Wealth Management. And one of the hardest things I witness is when someone passes and they hadn't updated their beneficiaries properly beforehand. We all experience change in our lives, marriage, divorce, kids, and we work very hard for what we have. Leaving your legacy exactly the way you desire is important. This is your reminder to review all of your beneficiary designations today and at least annually. Seek guidance if you need it. Call our office at 520-719-1433 for more information.
Advisory services provided by Meridian Wealth Management, a registered investment advisor.
Wildcat fans, where do you go when the final buzzer sounds? You don't head home. You head to Roadhouse Cinemas and Roadies, Tucson's home court for great food, craft beer, and nonstop fun. At Roadies, you can bowl, throw an axe, play arcade games, or grab a burger while the next game plays on the massive screens. Then, catch the newest movies right next door at Roadhouse Cinemas with luxury recliners and full in-seat dining. Game days, movie nights, anytime. Make it a win at Roadhouse Cinemas and Roadies on the corner of Grant and Swan.
Do you often worry you left your garage door open? With the LiftMaster Garage Door Opener powered by MyQ, you'll never worry again. You can control, secure, and monitor your garage from your smartphone anytime from anywhere through the MyQ app. As an authorized LiftMaster dealer, we have smart openers designed for your needs, including belt drive motors for ultra-quiet operation, integrated camera for live video streaming, and battery backup that lets you in when the power is out. The team at Kaiser Garage Doors and Gates are your locally owned LiftMaster professionals. Visit KaiserGarage.com to learn more.
The dice are hot and the cash is calling at Casino del Sol. Every day, swipe your Club Sol card for a free entry into our Friday drawings at 6 p.m., 7 p.m., and 8 p.m. Plus, every 250 slot or table points gets you an extra entry. If your name is drawn, you'll step up and roll the dice. And if you hit 5 of a kind, you'll take home $5,000 in cool cash. Only at Casino del Sol, an enterprise of the Pascuayaki tribe.
JT Auto, where customers are family. Trust your vehicle to JT Auto professional and reliable automotive repair and maintenance services. JT Auto is conveniently located off Fort Lowell and Country Club. Open Monday through Friday. JT Auto is a full-service auto shop with satisfaction guaranteed, offering you the best in tires and wheels, auto repair, oil changes, computer diagnostics, suspension and brake service, and heating and AC. Bring your car to JT Auto, where customers are family. 623-7066. That's 623-7066.
When it comes to basketball, nothing beats Wildcat basketball. Stolen by Korchinkoff on a breakaway. There goes Yvonne to the bucket. Slam it home. This is University of Arizona Wildcat basketball. And this is the Hughes Federal Credit Union Countdown to Tip-Off show. Burries with a steal, 3-on-1 ahead to Bradley. Now he'll back up to the corner and shoot an open three and score it. Stay tuned for a complete preview of today's game, including a look at the Cats' opponent, scores from games around the country, and the pregame thoughts of head coach Tommy Lloyd. Countdown to Tip-Off is brought to you by Hughes Federal Credit Union. Visit hughesfcu.org/Wildcats to learn why Arizona fans choose Hughes. Now, Arizona Sports Enterprises is proud to present Wildcat Basketball. The stretch drive has arrived. 6 games remain in the regular season. The Big 12 championship and an NCAA seed is on the line for the Wildcats. They get set to host the BYU Cougars. Hi again, everyone, and welcome to the sounds of McKale Center at ALKEME Arena, where Arizona and BYU will meet for the second time this season. With the